from 2122 Bigman.
Okay. And probably the most important question is that will you employ local people, one, and two is will you pay them a fair wage?
Will do. Totally, 100%.
Okay. We'll hold you to that.
Please do.
Thank you. We welcome you, Juan.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, Rashida?
I just had a clarification for Suki. Are you talking about the bar that's at the corner of Beekman and Flatbush? If you are, that bar did come before the committee and before the board.
Okay, so was that something that you considered in doing a 500-foot rule analysis to see if there was 3 or more full liquor
Yes,
licenses?
we did. Yes, we did.
And
we went through the same
there was
procedure.
or there was not?
We went through the same procedure that we did as we do all the time, but it did come before the board.
So did you decide if there was or there wasn't more than 3 full liquor licenses within 500 feet?
That's not part of Suki. That's not what we do. That's the state liquor authority's job to do it. Obviously, if we're aware of it, we bring it to their attention. But part of their application process is they go and they do all the measurements, and it has to be full liquor licenses, not any liquor license. I'm not sure what that bar is, but they really
Obviously the bar is a full liquor license.
So they do. The state liquor authority does the 200 rule and the 500-foot rule, as they will do in this case as well. They do those assessments. If we're aware,
right, but my understanding is
order. The questions we can ask when we go into business session. Those could be part of the debate. But right now, if there are any questions for the applicant, so that way we can get that information directly from them. Okay. Are there any other questions for the applicant? Okay, hearing none. All right, so Mr. Gomez, thank you for coming this evening. We will be discussing the application when we go into the business session. You are more than welcome to stay. And, it might be good as well because I anticipate that there might be a few extra questions as well.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. All right. Okay, so Rabbi Berman, do we have any representation from the other applicant today?
On the administrative side, we do not see the applicant, but I'm not particularly sure if Nina Melendez is a representative.
Oh, sure. Okay. Ms. Melendez, are you
so
here
is there a
on
way
behalf
we
of
could give them
Balboa?
I'm not. I don't understand what you mean by representative.
Okay, so we're going through state liquor authority licenses. So if you're not familiar, then you're not the representative for the business. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. All right then. So the second applicant is Balboa's Restaurant. I do not see a representative here. Yakov, if you could you just tell us what the recommendation was with respect to Balboa?
So it's in the minutes, and we recommend to approve.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, so we'll have discussion on both of the SLA applications when we get to the business session.
I want to say, Fred, there's a lot of discussion about the noise in the past establishment, and the owner committed to doing everything to keep the noise down and et cetera. Yeah.
Okay, no, thank you very much for that then. All right, so we are now going to move on in the agenda. Pardon me 1 second. We are going to go to public commentary. Dante, well, actually, let me just do this first. So public commentary lasts for exactly 30 minutes. The time is now 7:28. All speakers are granted 3 minutes to speak before the board, excuse me. Yes, so going to that, Dante, do we have anyone signed up for public commentary right now?
Suki did sign up for public commentary prior to the meeting. And I believe Felice Robinson may have signed up as well.
Okay, so I will put her on the list. I have Suki, and I'll put Felice on the list as well. And at this time, are there any participants present who wish to be recognized for public commentary? Please use the raise hand function, and we can make sure we add you to the speakers list. Again, if you are calling by phone, if you use *3, that will allow us to recognize you and add you to the list as well. Okay, but as we do that, let's begin. Suki, go ahead. You have the floor.
So I just wanted to say that at the Land Use Committee, and also I've been hearing a lot of discussion in the community on social media and so on, there's been a lot of talk about parking issues, sanitation issues. You know, people are having difficulties finding parking. They're concerned about the loss of parking. They're also concerned about sanitation. You know, there's been a lot of concern about restaurant sheds. You know, generally, it's a lot of concern about curb space management, which we don't usually think of as a land use issue, but it is a land use issue because it's, you know, as someone pointed out, it's real estate. And then we also have continuing land use issues. You know, there's a lot of unfettered development that goes on in our neighborhood. We've been bumping up against infrastructure issues, against environmental issues. We were just having a discussion during the budget hearings about how much infrastructure costs and the difficulties that we've had getting money to address this. When we look at the amount, you know, the 2020 census just came out. When we look at the amount of development that we've had in this district and surrounding districts, it's as much as if we had had a reason, you know, one of the major neighborhood rezonings. And I think we really need to start to connect the dots here, that a lot of the problems that we've been facing are related to density. With more density, there's going to be more competition for all kinds of resources and space. We're going to need more infrastructure. It's going to cost money. And, you know, this is not going to be a popular thing to say, but I feel like I have to say it. Land use is a zero-sum game. You know, if we allocate space to one thing, we're not going to have space for other things. If we add more density, it's, you know, going to put more strain on resources. And so I really think, you know, at our committee, we were talking about planning, you know, neighborhood planning. And I think that this is something that, you know, we need to start looking at. We need to start, we're the densest district in Brooklyn, one of the densest districts in the city. The surrounding districts are also extremely dense. And this is something that we really, you know, I think all of our committees really need to start considering when we think about the issues that we're facing, you know, whether it's sanitation or, you know, sewers or, you know, land use. People are having issues with construction, out of context development, parking. These are all related. And so that's just, you know, what I wanted to say.
All right, thank you very much for that. Okay. Felice, we have you next for public commentary. Did you wish to speak?
I apologize. I was trying to get in and I think I hit the wrong button. I apologize for that.
No, no worries, no worries. Okay. At this time, are there any other participants, anyone who wishes to speak as part of public commentary today? Okay, seeing none, I thank you, well, Suki, I thank you for your commentary. And definitely, these are definitely issues that as a board we need to grapple with. You know, one thing they don't make more of is land. We are tight, we are dense as a district. You know, I think that, you know, definitely points well taken with regards to the infrastructure. Even as we talk about adding, I think the budget meeting kind of highlighted the fact that we're talking about adding infrastructure when we're already, you know, the current infrastructure can't even support what we have. So I think that these are all questions and issues that definitely we need to be looking at as a board, engaging with our elected officials and partnering with our elected officials in terms of, you know, how do we address these issues. Okay, so at this time we have completed public commentary. We are now going to go on to acknowledgements. Firstly, I want to welcome and thank all of our elected officials and their representatives who have joined us this evening. We're going to go round robin. Who do we have first, Dante?
No one signed up prior, but I do see Jeremy from Councilmember Crystal Hudson's office.
Thank you. You know what? And let's do this. I would ask if you are a representative from an elected official's office, please raise your hand so that way we can make sure we have you on the list and we can acknowledge you. Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
I appreciate it. Do you want me to jump in?
Yes, absolutely. Go ahead. Yeah,
Thank you. I hope everyone's having a good evening. Relatively new to CB9, so I'll introduce myself again. Jeremy Lockett. I am the manager of community organizing and advocacy at Councilmember Crystal Hudson's office. That is District 35. It's a pleasure being here. I'm a resident of Crown Heights, so if you ever need to come find me, I'm in Crown Heights. We got a couple things coming up for this calendar for this month. And I'll obviously, if anyone needs to contact me directly, I'll provide my information. But an exciting community wellness day we're having outside of the First Baptist Church of Crown Heights. We'll be providing hot meals. We'll be providing clothing, other service providers, a chance for preventative health screenings. We're going to have at least, I think, 7 service providers there, and I can shoot the flyer off. It was finally finalized today. So I'd love to get that to you guys. Y'all spread it to your people. Would love anyone to come out. And if you want to volunteer, I'm always, I can find some work for people. But that's the event for the 31st. That'll start at 1 p.m. and go till 3. Again, outside of First Baptist Church of Crown Heights. I'm really excited for it. One other thing, and you know, I know we all have an opportunity to touch base with each other. There's a lot of things going on in the community. You know, this is more constituent related, but we're trying to bring back what we call a coffee with Crystal, where folks can sign up and have a cup of coffee or a croissant or whatever dietary restriction you go to in the morning that gets you going, have something with Crystal and talk about any concerns and hear directly from her. And you don't have to go through myself or another person. It's a great opportunity and hopefully brings a smile to people. So I'm excited about that. I have a couple other policy things, but I may conclude to just reserve my time. If anyone wants to reach out to me directly, I will read my cell phone number slowly right now. If you want to take it down, that is 646-771-5575. Again, my number is 646-771-5575, and I'll be here. I appreciate y'all.
Thank you very much, Jeremy. Jeremy, if I could ask him for all the representatives, just that way people get a little bit of face time with you. Is it possible to turn on your camera and just wave for a quick sec?
Yeah, I'll definitely put my camera on. I will say that I have a terrible. It's asking for a green screen, so I may be Mr. Robot. We'll see. Hold on. Let's see if you can see me. If you can't see me, come out to the 31st. Oh, look at that. It's terrible. Wait, hold on.
Only see
Hold on. It's asking me for all these permissions. Apologize that it's not working, but we're trying.
No worries. Okay, well, we're looking for your next meeting. That's all.
Yeah.
And for all the other representatives, if you could, like I said, it's just helpful in terms of establishing a relationship. We get names and faces. All right. Okay. Okay. So next, I see Portia. Do we have Portia?
I'm here.
Hey, Portia.
Give me 1 second. I will turn my video on. Dante, I feel offended that you didn't see me in the chat. I feel a little offended. Is there a way for me to share my video? Can you see me?
We can't.
Can't see you. Are you connected?
Well, if you give me permission to share my video, then I will definitely do so. But until then, my name is Portia Edwards. I'm the district director for State Senator Zelma Myri's office. Please forgive me if I speak at lightning speed. Sometimes that happens without me noticing. As I stated, I'm the district director for State Senator Zelma Myri's office, and I cover the Community Board 9 representation. This, I'm sure you guys know already, but we are in full swing with the budget. At this moment, we are in negotiations with the governor and the assembly to make sure that the senator's priorities for our district definitely end up in the budget. This upcoming school year, we have a youth leadership award that's on our website. If you go to nysenate.gov/MYRIE, and that's a backslash Myri, you can see on our page that we have a leadership award that we are offering to students in the 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. I believe applications need to be submitted. There's a date in April. I don't remember the exact date. But if you go to our website, you are able to submit an outstanding young student who is making waves in their school, in their community. And we want to make sure that we are able to, highlight our students because they are our future. So if you have any questions about that, please don't hesitate to give our office a call. I'll give you our office number and then I'll make the next announcement. It's 718-284-4700. Again, that number is 718-284-4700. And I'm still trying to put my camera on. I don't see why it's not working.
Yeah,
Second announcement.
It's showing that you're not connected to a camera. So I can see who is and is not connected to a camera, and you're not connected to one.
Okay, I will try to connect to a camera so you can see my beautiful, I want you all to see my face. And so the last, not last update forever, but for this month, for this wrap up, we are doing a budget town hall. I believe the date is April 21st, and it'll be at Brooklyn Children's Museum, April 21st from 6 to 9 p.m. 6 to 9 is generous. It's probably going to be from 6 to 8, to be completely honest, where we'll talk about our budget priorities, what was passed in the budget. So just keep your ears out for that. Once we are once we finalize all of the details, I will send over the flyer to you, Dante, so that you guys can post it in your bulletin. Does anyone have any questions for me?
Okay. Actually, we're running a little bit short on the questions just because we have to make sure we get all the acknowledgments and get to the agenda. But Portia, thank you as always, and please thank the senator as well. And for the information you just gave with the youth leadership award and the budget, if you could send that to the office, we can make sure we'll put that on the blast, and we'll make sure we publicize it as well.
All right.
Okay.
No, not
Thank
a
you very
problem.
much.
And I'll stay
Always
on
a
for
pleasure
a little bit longer. If I can get my camera to work, then you guys will be able to see my face.
There you go, and just wave at us. That's it.
No worries.
Okay. Justin, Mr. Freeman?
Yes, that's me. Hey, how's it going? How's everybody doing? Thank you so much. Well, good evening. Yeah, my name is Justin Freeman. I hope everyone is doing well. The weather is really unpredictable, just as well as COVID is, so I hope everyone. I'm the district manager for Assemblymember Farris DuPont Forest. Within that role, I manage constituent cases, volunteers, district outreach, and Assembly District 57. It consists of Boston, downtown Brooklyn, Fort Greene, Clinton Hill, Bed-Stuy, and Crown Heights. And our Assembly District overlaps a small part of CB9, Washington Avenue to the west, Empire to the south, Eastern Parkway to the north, Rogers Ave to the east. Just wanted to let you know about a few interesting things our office is doing in collaboration with other folks. We have a free tax prep our office is doing alongside Senate District Member Jabari Bridgeport. We'll hold a free tax prep event with certified tax officials, or professionals, I should say, from Grow Brooklyn. It will be held on April 6th from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. in our office at 55 Hampton Place in room 328. It's the event is by appointment only, which can be made at growbrooklyn.com/appointments. Again, growbrooklyn.com/appointments. Con Edison will be doing a public hearing along with, there will be a Con Ed public hearing, I'm sorry. The Public Service Commission will be holding 6 public hearings in the next 2 weeks. I could pass on information about that. You know, with Con Ed bills already being so high and unaffordable, it's important that elected officials, members of the public turn out to these hearings to oppose another rate strike, I should say. I think this is a really good opportunity for electeds who had constituents that had experienced rate hikes to contact them, provide them with this info so they can share their experience and affect change. The email address or the address that I have for it is I just had it. Give me 1 second. I can share that information afterwards. And just one last event. So, you know, we're doing a lot of outreach canvases. I think I've expressed to you guys in the past. Over the last year, we've conducted outreach canvases in Crown Heights area, which is in the southern part of our district. We knocked on doors, had conversations with our neighbors, and did what we could to retain information if they needed to be connected with services that our office could help out with. We had a canvas in February. We had one on Saturday, and we're having our next canvas on April 7th. Looking forward to doing these canvases and bringing up the rate as the year goes on. You're more than welcome to volunteer with us so we can get more connected to what our constituents need and just to build overall more community in our district. I can share my information. My number is 347-314-4076. That's my cell phone number. Our office number is 718-596-0100. Thank you so much for your time. I'm sorry if that was long-winded. I hope you all have a good night.
Repeat your cell phone number, please. Thank you.
347-314-4076. My name is Justin Freeman, and I'm the District Manager for Assembly Member Farragut Front 4. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that, for all that information. And please, anything you have, share it with the office as well. We can include it as part of the blast. Okay, great seeing you again. Okay, next I see.
Excuse me, Fred. I had my hand up.
Mrs. Slavin? Yes.
No, Fred, I had my hand up.
What's up, sir?
Okay, I have a question.
Yeah, but we're doing it now.
Excuse me?
Yeah, we're not doing question and answer because we're trying to get through the acknowledgements portion of it.
Okay, but will I get to ask my question?
Typically, we don't have the questions because we just have to make sure we get through the acknowledgements. But his contact information is there. So you
know what I'll do? I'll do it under new business.
Fair enough.
Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Slavin.
Yes. Good evening, everybody. Send regards from the Congresswoman. I am community liaison for Congresswoman Yvette Clarke. Before I go on, our number is 718-287-1142, and we're at 222 Lenox Road between Rogers and Nostrand, where our office is very busy with passports, immigration, and now with assisting our residents and constituents who have close ties with Ukraine, Russia, and with Haiti. Please, any issues in federal issues, feel free to call us. We have a lot of information on our website, clark.house.gov. I try to put together from last week's, this is a synopsis. If I go on, keep on talking about it, it'll take 2 hours. So please, I sent this to the Committee Board 9, a synopsis of the omnibus bill that was passed in Congress and with the voting of the Congresswoman. I think one thing that I should mention amongst the millions and millions and billions of dollars, there was $3 million that was allocated to gun violence prevention for New York City, $3 million. There's also aid for Ukraine. There was to continue our commitment for Israel's security. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that our people in our diverse community should take interest in. Again, last but not least, I just want to give you again our email, our website, clark.house.gov. Now, my number is 202-821-7906. My name is Eli Slavin. Any questions, anything related to our office, please feel free to call me 24/6. Why do I say 24/6? Because I'm Sabbath observant. But otherwise, I'm available to everybody. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much, Mr. Slavin. Okay, at this time, I see Taekwon Coleman with Councilmember Joseph's office.
I'm trying to, let me turn my camera on. Can you all see me? It's, oh,
there we go.
Yes, there we go. There we go. Hi, everyone. Taekwon Coleman from Councilmember Joseph's office. I'm her Director of Constituent Services. So on my team, there are 3 of us, so we're available Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. Our telephone number, 718-287-8762. Once again, 718-287-8762. My personal cell phone number is 929-496-6341. Once again, 929-496-6341. Tomorrow, we're hosting our 3rd Community Wellness Day. So we have partnered with Brooklyn Emerge to provide produce and warm meals to the community. We're going to be at PS 139 tomorrow, which is located at 330 Rugby Road. And we also will be having a Fire Safety 101 event on April 5th. Details to come. For any other updates, you can reach out to us directly, or you can follow the member at Rita Joseph NYC on Instagram and on Twitter. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Coleman. Okay, at this time, I see Jack Plushnik.
Good evening, everybody. It's good to be at Community Board 9 tonight. As you mentioned, my name is Jack Plushnik. I'm here with Councilmember Darlene Mealy's office. Councilmember Darlene Mealy's office is located over here on 400 Rockaway Avenue. We just wanted to wish everyone a good evening. Hopefully everyone had a good month. And we also just wanted to let you know that the council member has a food pantry every Wednesday. Wednesday morning, first come, first serve, starts about 11:30 in the morning, and everybody is welcome to attend that needs food or has food insecurities. It is available to the public, to anybody that might need it. So again, every Wednesday, 11:30 in front of our office at 400 Rockaway Avenue, right off Pipkin Avenue. So everybody is welcome to attend to that if they need it. I also just wanted to let everyone know that if they need to get in contact with their office, they can always reach out to us. We're available at either via email, or we're available via phone. You can reach us at our office, our district office, at 718-953-3097. Again, it's 718-953-3097. Again, this is Jack Plushnik. If you guys need anything, you can always email me as well or call me at that number. My email address is jplushnik@council.nyc.gov. Again, that's hold on, I don't think I got my face. I thought it was on video. Oh, there I am. Okay, I thought I was on video the whole time. Anyway, my email address is jplushnik@council.nyc.gov. So if you guys need anything at all, just feel free to reach out to me, and we'll make sure that we address whatever concerns that we can within our capacity. All right, have a wonderful evening. Take care, and have a great week.
Thank you very much, Jack. Okay, next I see David Lewis from Community Affairs Unit.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for having me, Mr. Chair. My name is David Lewis, Deputy Commissioner over at the Mayor's Office of Community Affairs, Mayor's Office Community Affairs Unit. I'll be very quick. I know you've got a lot of people on. Just two quick things. Mayor Adams earlier this month had announced his economic recovery blueprint, and on that blueprint includes a few strategies that including planning and building for inclusive growth, beginning now and moving forward in the future, connecting New Yorkers with quality jobs and in-demand skills, and making sure that there is an inclusive sector for growth and building a future focused on the economy. I will share the blueprint if you guys don't have it already. I'll send that via email so that you can share it with your networks. I've spoken about the second item before, but I just feel like it's so important that I need to share it again. The summer youth employment applications are out. So please, everyone, if you have a young person in your home, in your neighborhood, your neighbor that you know is of the ages of 14 to 24 and eligible to work, please, share with them, encourage them to sign up for this opportunity for a few reasons. One, this is an opportunity to keep our young people engaged. Far beyond the idea of just collecting a paycheck. I mean, saving money is great, or having your own money is awesome, but it's also an opportunity to engage with a mentor and somebody that you can build a long-lasting relationship with, somebody that can help you go through life. And that's really important, especially when we're talking about making sure that our young people are engaged. During the summer months, I've seen and witnessed mentorships that have happened in the summer and have extended beyond the summer months. And, for young people who are just saying, well, this is just a job for the summer, it really isn't. This could be you in your most interested career area, building relationships with folks year after year after year until you're old enough to work in the facility as or institution or organization or company as an adult, and you can grow into a partner, and then you can grow and be a mentor yourself. So please, please, please encourage your young people to take advantage of this program. Now, if you are a business owner, a ED, executive director of a nonprofit or an organization, I encourage you as well to sign up because you have the opportunity to impact these young people's lives and serve as an employer. I will share that information again with CB9 just in case no one else has anyone else needs it. But again, thank you for your time. I can always be reached at 646-385-0293, 646-385-0293. My colleagues, Malcolm McDaniel and Tony Herbert, are the leads for here, but I also provide coverage. So if you ever need anything, feel free to reach out to me or them. We just want to make sure that you all have your concerns addressed. Thank you so much and have a great evening, everyone.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lewis. Appreciate you joining us this evening again.
Thank you.
Okay. I do see a caller.
The phone number
347
992 is board member Evelyn Williams.
Okay, got it then. Okay. Are there any other representatives for elected officials or elected officials who are here with us that we missed? Anyone else? Okay, I'm not seeing any, but in any case, I just want to thank everyone who's joined us this evening. Please give our best regards, to the elected officials. It's really the partnership with them that's going to help us move things in the district. We just finished having our budget hearing, and there are definitely a lot of concerns with respect to infrastructure, priorities, things that we need to make sure get funded within the district. So we look forward to continuing to work together in terms of making sure that Community Board 9 is strongly represented and we get those things taken care of. Thank you very much again. Okay, at this time, we are now going to move into the business session. At this time, I would ask Khalid, would you be able to give us do the roll call?
Yes, I can.
Thank you.
Okay, board members, please be ready to unmute yourselves as I will call you by your last names in alphabetical order. Kyrie Elaine. I see that he's present, okay. And also, please note for the record that we currently have 44 board members and 23 would constitute quorum. Nicholas Almanor.
Present.
Okay. Stuart Balberg. Stuart Balberg. Fred Baptiste.
Present.
Naomi Baptiste. Naomi Baptiste. John Beckles Jr. John Beckles Jr. Rabbi Yaakov Berman.
Here.
Warren Burke.
Here.
Augustine Blackwell.
This is Yanela. Miss Blackwell is out sick. She said she did try and reach in the office, but she is asking me to just let everyone know.
Okay, thank you very much. Suki Chong. Verlene Dozier. Verlene Dozier. Rosemary Evering. Rosemary Evering. Tessa Hackett Vieira.
Here.
Bishop Sylvetta Hamilton Gonzalez. Okay. Zalman Hecht.
Here.
Saloma Zalman Hecht.
Here.
Primo Lozana.
Here.
Primo Lozana.
Here. Can you not hear me? Sorry.
Mina Lagute.
Lee, can you hear both?
Mina Lagute.
Mina's present. She's present.
Here. Here.
Yep.
Thank you.
I think I did cut off for a bit. Did Primo by any chance respond?
Yeah, he was here.
Yes.
And Shlomo Heck was here as well.
Perfect. I'll note that. Thank you. Francisca Leopold. She actually informed us
excused.
that she
She's
might be
excused.
opposed. Right, excused. Melanie Lewis.
Reading is present.
Thank you. Michael Liburd. Michael.
Here.
Yes. Thank you. Matthias Limberger.
Here.
Okay, thank you. Christian LeBeau. See you.
Muted Christian.
Menachem Margolin. Menachem Margolin. Carmen Martinez. I think she might also be working elections. Vivian Morgan. Vivian Morgan. Patricia Moses. Patricia Moses.
For the record, she is trying to log in. Her internet is down, but I'm trying to work with her to navigate that.
Okay, so I will leave that for now then. Beverly Newsom.
Present.
Thank you. Yaakov Pearson.
Present.
Thank
Here.
you. Real Peerboom.
Present.
Amy Pinkerton. Amy Pinkerton. Yanela Roan Perry.
Present.
Thank you. Dexter Roberts. Dexter Roberts. Felice Robertson.
Present.
Thank you. Mary Rollerson Blackett.
Absent.
Okay, absent. Melissa Severe.
Present.
Thank you. Rashida Sadiq.
Here.
Thank you. Rabbi Connor Sperlin? Rabbi Connor Sperlin? Rashida Sykes?
Excuse me, it's Warren. I think he's working the election. Rabbi Sterling.
Okay, thanks, Warren.
Good night.
You're welcome.
Rashida Sykes? Rashida Sykes. Okay. Debbie Timothy. I think she might also be working the elections as well, I think. Linda Watson Lord, also I believe the
She's
same.
excused, yes, correct.
Miss Evelyn Williams.
Present.
Thank you, ma'am. Lorianne Wolseley.
Present.
Thank you. And Cheryl Wright. Cheryl Wright.
Khalid, this is Tessa. Pardon the intrusion. Verlene Dozier is working at the elections.
Understood. Thank you very much.
Actually, I think she's on the phone. I think I see her phone. I think she's in the attendees, 347-889.
If it ends with 8912, then she's on the phone, but she's also working at the election.
Okay, let me just confirm. Thank you so much. Do you need me to confirm right now? If I guess you do, don't you? Okay, give me 1 second. You said the 889, correct? Oh, okay, you did. Okay, cool. Okay, if I can proceed, I'll just call those who didn't respond and just to confirm.
Thank you.
Stuart Balberg. Stuart Balberg. Naomi Baptiste. Naomi Baptiste. John Beckles Jr. Verlene, we're still trying to confirm if Verlene goes in. Rosemary Evering. Bishop Sylvetta Hamilton Gonzalez. Menaka Margolin. Vivian Morgan.
I think Menachem Margolin may be working the elections with Sperlin.
Okay, I will leave that as excuse for now. And I'm sorry, with Patricia Moses, did we say that she's excused?
Warren, yes, she is.
Thank you. Okay, just noting that for the record. Amy Pinkerton. Dexter Roberts. Mary Rollerson Blackett. Rashida Sykes. Cheryl Wright. Okay. I'm gonna count. Excuse me. I'm gonna count by those that have actually acknowledged presence, and I will return with the numbers shortly.
I believe Verlene may be. Verlene, could you confirm if you're present? 347-992. Can you please confirm?
No, she should be 347-889.
889. Let's see. Okay.
So just to be clear, I'll mark her as excused as if she's working the election.
She's working at the election. She called me 7 o'clock this morning. She's there.
Okay, thank you, Tessa. Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna count for those that are counted present and give you the numbers just now. Okay, members. So we have 23 members currently present. We do have quorum.
Thank you very much. Noted. We have 23 members present. We have quorum. We barely have quorum. Board members, I need you to hang in with me. We'll get through the agenda as quickly as possible, but I need you to hang in. Okay. All right. As we have quorum, actually, that's a perfect segue. At the executive committee meeting, we did not have quorum, so we were not able to formally adopt the agenda. So at this time, the one item that we have is we want to formally adopt the agenda so we can proceed. The agenda that has been sent out is what was discussed. At this time, I will entertain a motion to adopt the agenda as moved by Michael Liburd. Do I have a second?
Second, Felice Robertson.
Seconded by Felice Robertson. Okay, we will call we'll call all those in favor. Please say aye of adopting the agenda. Say aye.
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 Aye. Are there any members opposed? Please say your name for the record. Any members opposed? Please say your name for the record. Hearing none. Any abstentions? Please say your name for the record. Call for a second time. Any abstentions? Please say no. Say your name for the record. Hearing no, none in opposition and no abstentions, the agenda is adopted. Okay, we are now going to go on for the approval of the February 2022 minutes. The minutes have been distributed to the board members. Are there any corrections that need to be made to the minutes? Call for a second time. Are there any corrections that need to be made to the minutes? Okay, hearing no corrections being offered, the minutes are adopted by common consent. Okay, we are now going to move on in the agenda to the committee reports. I would ask at this time, the committee chairs should have submitted the reports for the respective committees. If there are any committee chairs who have a brief, brief oral report they wish to give at this time, please raise your hand and we'll recognize you. All right, Chris, I see you and we'll acknowledge you momentarily. Are there any, Beverly, I see you as well. Hold on one second. Actually, Beverly, we'll see you first. Hold on one second.
And
are there any other
Melanie Lewis.
And Melanie Lewis, I see her. Okay, so Beverly, we'll see you first. Melanie, we're going to see you right after that, and then we're going to conclude with Chris Lubo. Okay, Beverly, you have the floor.
I just want to ask everyone who was at the last housing meeting to submit their email to the community board office so we can start our housing committee listserv where we can dive into topics that take too long to talk about at a housing meeting. And for all housing committee members, we've partnered with Community Board 8 on Wednesday. They're having a presentation, and all who want to attend, please contact the community board office so that they can send you the information via the email that you will provide to Dante. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Are there any questions for the chair? Very, very quick questions. Any questions? Okay, seeing none, thank you very much for that report, Beverly. We will go to Melanie Lewis, Education.
Yes, greetings and thank you so much. I just wanted to publicly announce and thank our Superintendent of District 17, Sheehan and Lindsay, for joining us at our last Education Committee meeting. We appreciate her for joining us during Women's History Month, and we want to just make sure everyone, you get a chance to be able to look over the minutes, and you'll be able to see more detailed information over what she shared. But I just wanted to publicly acknowledge her presence and thank her once again for joining us.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Okay, at this time, we will recognize the Chair of Environmental Protection, Chris Lubo.
Thanks very much, Fred.
just wanted to share with folks for consideration, perhaps for a motion.
You sound a little low. You sound a little low.
Can you hear me better now?
Still a little bit on the low side.
No, Christian, we can't hear you.
Better now?
Not really, no.
Really, no.
I can try and disconnect and come back in. Would that be helpful?
Christian, just a thought. I don't know what kind of microphone you have, but it might be helpful if you turn off the camera and speak closer to the microphone, and then maybe come back on.
Is this any better?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yes.
Okay. Can you still hear me pretty well?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I'd like to raise a matter we discussed in the executive meeting last Tuesday, and perhaps there'll be a motion to adopt these recommendations. This is something that I first shared with the General Board in January of this year. The Environmental Protection Committee came up with several recommendations on how to address the sanitation issues plaguing our community, and we drafted a letter to council members on these recommendations. The syntax and some of the content of the letter could change, but the 5 recommendations that we came up with are something we would like to consider this evening for a vote, if there is a motion to entertain a vote. So Dante, I know you sent out this letter earlier today to everyone. Thank you for doing that. I will also go ahead and just reiterate the 5 recommendations that we're asking of our council members in this letter. So the first one is to immediately provide funding and a budget for additional trash receptacles in our community. The second thing is we request that the Department of Sanitation fully enforce regulations for residences and commercial properties to regularly clean their sidewalk area extending 18 inches into the street. The third recommendation is to simply support the implementation of Local Law 199 to establish commercial waste zones. For those that aren't familiar, Local Law 199 would make it so that commercial businesses in our neighborhoods across the 5 boroughs, instead of each business having a different private contracting company come and pick up their garbage, there would be just a single company who, through a bidding process, would collect the garbage in that district, thereby reducing the amount of truck traffic in our neighborhoods. The fourth recommendation is to pilot an on-street containerized trash pickup. And we took feedback, some of the input we got in this last meeting in January. And we said, instead of piloting this on-street containerized trash pickup in residential areas, let's just focus primarily on commercial corridors. So that's a revision from the last meeting in January. And then the last thing, this is also based off of feedback we got from this meeting. We are asking for enforcement of existing alternate street side parking rules. So not going back to, in your neighborhood, what might be 4 or 2 days a week of moving your car around, but just enforcement of the existing rules, which are just 1 to 2 days a week. So those are the 5 recommendations. I'll stop there, and I welcome comments, and I also welcome any additional comments from members of the executive board. Heard this last week. Thank you.
All right. Well, before we proceed, then, so we would actually want to make it a formal item of business. So the executive committee voted. Yes, we actually did vote last week because we lost quorum afterwards. We voted to adopt the to approve the recommendations and have them be considered by the full board. So at this time, I will entertain a motion to adopt the recommendations, and then we'll have discussion. Do I have a motion to adopt the recommendations of the committee? Hold for a second time.
Right, it's Warren. I make the motion.
Second.
Okay. So moved by Warren Burke, seconded, Michael, was that you?
Yes, I believe that was Michael.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes.
Seconded by Michael Library. Thank you very much. Okay, at this time, we will hear questions with regard to the motion. I'll take a speakers list. If you wish to ask a question with regards to the motion, please use the raise hand function and we'll create the speakers list.
Okay.
Okay. I see Yakov, Berman, and then Beverly, and we'll continue from there. Rabbi Berman, go ahead, your question.
Sorry, I got caught up. This is about the sanitation, right?
Sorry, this is this is about the recommendation from the Environmental Protection Committee.
Yeah. So I first of all, I'm reading this letter. I just want to make a note that you have Darlene Neely in this letter, and both in the minutes of your meeting and in the letter itself, you don't mention her district. So I'm not sure how she got into this letter. Because when your motion and your minute, you said it was the 35th and the 40th. I believe Councilmember Mealy is the 41st. So I'm not sure why you're including her. If you are going to include her, you should add in her district as well. I'm looking at this letter. I'm immediately provide funding to who? Who are you asking they provide funding to? That's question number one. Who are you asking to provide funding to? The second question I have is that have you spoken to the businesses on Empire Boulevard, Nostrand Avenue, and discussed with them their feelings, how will it affect parking, whether they want these commercial, whatever they are. And in addition, the final question I noticed that your committee, it appears to be you're the only board member on your committee. Everybody else is community members. And I guess my question is, I know typically we try to do half and half. Are there any other board members on your committee, or are you the only board member? Everybody else is community members, and I understand correctly. So I guess those are three questions.
All right, let me answer a couple of those. Yes, currently the makeup of this committee is, we do not have board members. We don't have other board members on that one, or a limited amount of board members. That is a function of board participation, where we don't have all our board members necessarily coming in the way they need to and participating. And we do have some of the committees that are actually structured that way, where there are slightly more committee resident members. But that's okay. That's part of the process in which the board, the committee members do deliberate. That's why it comes before the executive committee, where we do some oversight, and then the full board has the final decision with respect to that. I'm sorry, Chris, go ahead. I think there were a couple of other points if you wanted to touch those, or.
Sure, I can speak to the other two, and thank you, Rabbi Berman, for the questions. Yes, we do need to add the other district for Councilmember Mealy. In terms of who we're speaking to when we're saying immediately provide funding, we're talking about providing funding to the district so that the council member has additional funding and the community boards have funding so that we can help address these issues, and specifically by adding trash receptacles. So that's
so who are you asking for the funding? I'm not understanding. You're asking the community board doesn't get funding. You're saying
Actually,
the council members should give
Yeah, and I apologize. I didn't mean to jump in as well. If I could jump in, Chris, just because I think there's clarification that also needs to be made. Yakov, you are correct. The district, we wouldn't get the funding for that directly. Typically, and based on the feedback we actually got as part of the capital, the budget register, that funding actually would have to come directly from the council members. So that is an ask that would come to the council members themselves.
So the letter should be addressed to the mayor then. Why is the letter addressed? The council members have discretionary funding. You're asking for discretionary funding. You're asking for the executive budget. I'm confused.
Well, that's the thing. I think we're asking them for their assistance in terms of identifying the funding source, either directly through them or as part of the budgeting process.
Then how are you
So
asking
we
them
need
to
their,
immediately fund? You can't ask them to immediately fund. You ask them, please work with the Department of Sanitation and provide funding. You can't say we ask you to fund if we don't know who they're supposed to fund or if they're the ones supposed to be
Right.
funding.
No, absolutely. Yeah, Yakov, and and to be clear, it's not a matter of, we can wordsmith the letter a little bit. So it's like, in terms of if we need to add text or change text or whatever, we can do that. I think it's ultimately, do we accept the recommendations of the committee as what we want to go forward with in terms of what we're advocating for?
Mr. Chair,
But
my last comment is that it's very nice and everything. We could change, we will change, but typically when we come before the board, we have a letter and a draft, and we approve this draft. And I'm not comfortable approving a draft that if we're going to change it multiple times and we're addressing the letter to the wrong person or the wrong source of funding. Let them present a letter with the appropriate agencies, with the appropriate language, and let us vote on it. Why should we vote on a draft? It's going to be changed 10 times. How hard is it to draft a proper letter?
Point taken, Rabbi. All right.
Yakov.
I'm sorry, Beverly.
I agree with Yakov.
No, okay. Listen. We can't shout out of turn. Okay. We'll definitely recognize you if you wish to make a point. If you wish to agree, that's fine. But we can't shout out of turn. Next, I see Beverly. Then I see Warren. And then I see Primo. Tessa, if you wish, I can add you to the list if you would like as well.
Are we in this proposal? We're just voting on one thing, or we're voting on all five?
Right. There's 5 items in the recommendation. So
we're voting on all 5.
That would be the goal, unless there's some alteration that happens here. Did you have any specific item that you have a question about?
Yes, I just thought we were voting on the trash can, the implementation of the places to put the new garbage cans. Because I thought there was still conversation to be had about the trash areas on the commercial corridors. I thought there was conversation to be had that came up in the executive committee meeting, and one of the reasons I thought that is because who's going to decide where the trash areas are going to go? What businesses are going to who is going to be the sanitation people, because I understand that those are going to be private. So I thought that proposal was still up in the air because there was too many open-ended concerns. I misunderstood.
Happy to.
Christian?
You're mute.
Can you hear me? I'm happy to.
Yeah.
Yes, I can hear you.
Thank you, Beverly. And you're right that was also an issue we discussed in the executive board meeting last week. I think where we landed with that is, that first thing is that's a separate proposal. But as we're thinking about the CB9 resources, we had agreed to essentially table that proposal until April, once we have a better understanding of budgets. But
so that comes out of the proposal of tonight, right, Christian?
Sorry?
So that comes out of tonight's proposal, right?
No, that's a separate proposal that we're not considering in terms of locations for trash cans, and that's a separate proposal that we're not discussing tonight. That's something we had.
I'm sorry, I thought I heard you mention it. Sorry about that.
All right. Thank you, Beverly. Warren.
Hey, everybody, it's Warren. First of all, Beverly, you're correct. One of the items on the list is new trash cans. And I think Christian's and his committee's request is for the Department of Sanitation to provide them. That's something you have to see. And that goes back to the whole capital budget thing, that we need to really, get these things. My experience has been every time we ask for new trash cans, Department of Sanitation says, great, we need some merchants to adopt them and take care of them. I don't find that acceptable. So I think that's pretty good. The other part, I just wanted to find is historically with the trash removal, and this is only for trash removal. This has been going on for years. And basically, it came upon, I think, 3 or 4 years ago when there was a tremendous amount of accidents and actually, how do I put this? Killings by trash companies hitting pedestrians and bicyclists. So I don't know what's going on with that, but I think it's a good thing to ask for. Basically, I support his letter, and I also adhere to Yako's comments that we just have to sharpen it and say what we're asking for, who we're asking for. But as far as the meat of the letter goes, I agree with it. Thank you.
Thank you, Warren. Michael, live bird.
Yes, Mr. Chair, can you clarify what we're talking about right now? Is it the letter that Chair Christian wrote today that went around? What are we discussing right now?
Correct, that's the letter, yes.
And we're looking for the board to approve that letter going out?
Right, or at least to approve the recommendations, understanding that there may be some text changes to the letter itself.
Yeah, okay. I thought so. I just wanted to make sure before I commented. Letter was extremely clear, very thorough. This committee's clearly taking their time to weigh all the options here. I'm not sure what the trepidation is right now. This is something that will have a direct impact on our community. And I hope people understand that and are willing to trust the work that this committee has done, and they've demonstrated their confidence by the way this letter is written. So I hope that we realize the work is done in committee and that they've done their due diligence, it seems. And had a conversation, I think, in the January meeting. And if you didn't show up to the last Environmental Protection Committee meeting to weigh in, then that's unfortunate. And if you haven't read this letter, you should read it before you vote, because it's very clear and very forward thinking. And I think it's the kind of thing that we should really weigh on how we make these decisions going forward. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Michael. Next, I see Suki. Suki, did you have a question? Suki, you still there? Okay, might have been an inadvertent hand. Okay, so next we'll go on to Amy Pinkerton.
Hello? Yeah, sorry. Sorry, Fred, can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes, we can. Oh, Suki? Yes, we can hear you.
Sorry, I guess I was muted. Yeah, I just would like to suggest to the chair that before sending out the letter, that maybe he hold a special meeting for all of the board members to be able to join and discuss all of the issues. Sanitation is an issue of broad concern. You know, you can even invite community members. You know, I think, you know, to Yako's point, if there's really only one board member on the committee and some of us cannot attend the environmental protection meetings because they meet at the same time as land use, it's just, I think these are complicated proposals. There are a lot of trade-offs to be made. There are a lot of details to be worked out. And I think it would really benefit from, you know, more board members having a chance to come to a meeting and be able to discuss how it would affect their district. You know, possibly you can also invite the merchants. They can talk about it. They're obviously, you know, if you're really talking about a proposal for the commercial corridors, that's who you really need to talk to. So that's, you know, I feel like you've done a lot of thinking about it, but we're not, you know, we're not ready to write a letter to the council people on recommendations. I mean, I feel like these are sort of recommendations that can be discussed with other board members and with, you know, other community members, but it's, you know, there's too many details for a proposal to the council.
Okay, thank you for that. And just very briefly, I do want to say that with respect to the recommendations here, I don't want us to necessarily get too hung up on the letter. I think it's really the substance of what we're trying to get at is, do these recommendations make sense, or are these the things that we want to get behind in terms of these are the issues within the district? Again, the letter can be wordsmith. The letter could even be broken down into certain points. I think that what it also calls for, there are going to be certain conversations that have to happen afterwards. Like, for example, if we're going to be doing the pilot, that's not saying, well, we're automatically committed to a place. It's a matter of there are subsequent conversations that happen. These are the people we'll need to engage. We'll need to engage sanitation. We'll need to obviously engage the people on the commercial corridor to see where this would happen. But I just want to make sure that we're not necessarily, trying to throw, letting perfect be the enemy of something that's good. I offer that for the consideration of the board. But now let's continue. I'm sorry. We're going to go back to the speakers list.
Mr. Chair, can you please call on Primo? I accidentally lowered his hand and he had his hand up for a while.
I do see, well, actually, I'll tell you, he's right next. I do see Amy. Is Amy Pinkerton still there? Did you want to speak? Amy, did you want to speak? Can you unmute yourself? Oh, hand down. Okay, thank you. Primo, I'm sorry about that. Yes, you have the floor now.
Thanks, Al. I just want to, kind of double down on everything that Michael shared. It feels like we're getting in the way of sending a letter, which is the beginning of a conversation. We're not like making a decision to allocate funding here. We're not making a decision to purchase a bunch of things. We're sending a letter. And this committee has been working on this for months. We're also about to go into break over the summer in a few months. And it feels like we're just going to bat back and forth a letter when we could be starting a conversation to get something done. It's also the beginning of city council members' terms. They're going to be most effective at the beginning of these terms. We should be first on the docket to begin this conversation with them. And we're simply making some recommendations. They've done so much work. They've looked at what other city council members have allocated funding for. They've looked at other sanitation things. They've had conversations with the sanitation department. Who cares if there aren't board members on their committee? They have community members on their committee. They've also presented this to the board a number of times, opened their meetings to board members a number of times. We just came out of a preliminary budget hearing where we made 40 recommendations, which it seemed like nobody cared about when those recommendations were first made, and every single one of them was rejected. So now we're taking a different approach to how to get resources into our community, and it feels like the community board is just standing in the way of doing that. It's a letter. It's the beginning of a conversation. I say, let's get this thing out. Let's start the conversation. And thank you, Christian, and your committee for all of your work.
Okay, thank you, Primo. I see Tessa next.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. While I agree and heard your explanation as to why the burden of the Environmental Protection Committee stands alone with Christian, I think that if there's 41 active board members, there ought to be one or two other persons assigned to work with him in conjunction with the community members that he's already have an active relationship with. With regard to the letter, Yakov Berman is right, Rabbi is right, that if we're going to send a letter, I agree with Primo that it's only a letter, but it should be stated correctly, written correctly, have all the appropriate councilmatic districts, because it's a reflection of us and it's a reflection of the board. In terms of how we go forward and if we go forward, yeah, that is a conversation for further down the road. I don't agree with Suki that it needs to be a town hall meeting about, trash cans and the like, but certainly if there's another board member or two assigned to the Environmental Protection Committee, then it's not the burden of this committee isn't carried with Christian alone. And I don't see if there's 41 board members why one or two other persons can't be assigned to work with him. It's not a community issue. It's at the point that recommendations are made and the board votes on it. It's basically what he's recommending to the executive committee that's recommending to the board, and there ought to be 2 or 3 more eyes and ears assigned to work with him and to be there for support and everything else, because the community the community members are self-interested and self-serving. And so since the board members are tasked with serving the entire community and not one public interest group, then some 2 or 3 other eyes should be assigned with him. And I agree with Primo that the board shouldn't get in the way, but the letter should go out and it should be correctly done and correctly stated.
All right,
Because
and the
it's a reflection
commitment
of
is
us.
for, right. No, and absolutely. And that's part of what, the executive committee is going to do in terms of that. That's part of what the district office team is going to do to make sure that, the I's are dotted, T's are crossed, and the grammar is correct. But I think it's the principles that we want to make sure that we're in line with as a board. And I apologize. I know I've seen Portia. Is she still there? I know she's had her hand up for a second.
She's still online. Let's see.
Yes, I'm here. I took my hand down because I think someone answered my question, but I'll state it just in case. So we're discussing adopting the letter, the draft letter to send to the city council about sanitation, right? I got a little bit lost in all of the conversation.
It's about adopting the recommendations. The draft letter is kind of encapsulated. It's about the motion was for the recommendations in the letter. So it's those 5 points that were outlined by the chair.
Okay, great. Just as a point of knowledge, definitely the city council can fund it, and in particular areas they can literally sit down with sanitation and choose exactly where you want to put these locations. Just as a point of knowledge.
And thank you very much for that, Portia. Appreciate that.
Problem.
Appreciate the insight. Thank you.
No problem.
Okay. All right, we're going to go back to the list. Okay, Amy, I do see you. Yeah, Amy, did you have a question? Did you want to make a point? Hello?
Hold on.
Okay, Amy, can you unmute yourself?
Looks like she's muted.
There must be something wrong with her microphone because it's not even giving me an option to send her a request to unmute.
Okay, Amy, to unmute yourself, press Control M on your. If you don't have access to the mute button on your computer, try pressing Control M. That might do it for you. Okay, unfortunately, looks like we're still not able to get through. All right, we're going to move on. I'll try and come back if we can. I'll try and come back if possible. All right, Matthias.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Primo and Michael Liber kind of already echoed my my thoughts on this. First of all, this committee may not have a lot of community board members working on this project, but community board members are free to come into this committee and work on this, as they wish, right? Secondly, guys, we're talking about trash cans. No pun intended, but we can't kick the can down the road. Like, this is now 2 months in, right? We're talking about trash cans. You got that? Okay. So this letter, I don't know if everybody read it. I'm not sure. I don't see any issues with it. I think it's pretty straightforward. Like Prima already said, let's start a conversation with our elected officials. Let's partner with them. That's what this letter is intended to do. This is not rocket science, folks. We as a community board cannot get this done. I think we're in a bad space, right? Let's get this done. Let's send this letter out, and let's get some of this trash that's floating around our community in trash cans. That's all we're trying to do. That's all I got to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Matthias. Suki, hold on. Yes, Suki, I see you. You have the floor.
So to Matthias's point, I agree that it's a good thing to start a conversation. So I'm going to make a motion to amend the letter to remove all of the recommendations and to state instead that, keep the explanatory part of the letter explaining what the problems in the district are, but remove all of the specific recommendations and state instead that we wish to start a conversation with you as soon as possible about innovative and effective strategies to reduce trash in our community in partnership with the community, with the merchants, and with the property owners.
Okay, Suki, I see that you have a motion to amend. Can you restate that succinctly, and then we'll get into the discussion part of that. You have a motion to
The
amend?
motion would
What is
be
it?
to remove all of the
Excuse me,
specific
friends.
recommendations that are being made, the 5 recommendations,
She's making a
and to
motion.
replace that with a paragraph stating
I
that,
know, you can't.
well,
She can't,
that's
she's
my
making a
motion.
motion.
I mean,
Right.
everybody is saying
She
that
can
what
make
they
the
really
motion.
want is to start a conversation
Warren.
with the elected
During
officials,
discussion.
that
hold on.
these
Hold on,
proposals are
hold on,
not
hold
set
on,
in
hold on.
stone
Okay.
and that they may
Hold
be
on.
amended or
Sue-
details may be
Warren
changed.
and
So
Suki.
my
Point of
proposal
order.
is that we remove the
Okay, so
recommendations
stop.
and
Okay,
replace
okay.
it with a
Point
paragraph
of order.
that states
No, let her finish making the motion, and then we can actually see if there's a second, and then there's conversation with respect to that. She's making a
so
motion to amend. We have to
the
see if
letter
it's
is
in
2
order.
pages. I read all of it, right? And the second part of it is an explanation of what the problem is and where it comes from. I think we should leave that part, but we should remove the 5 specific recommendations and replace it with a short sentence that says, we wish to start a conversation with you, our elected officials, as soon as possible in partnership with the community and with the merchants about how we can abate the serious trash problem in our community.
Okay, so if I'm getting the gist of this, you wish to draft a letter removing the 5 recommendations and requesting a meeting with the electeds and the community, the electeds, community, and business partners. Is that what it sounds like?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, we have a motion to amend, to remove the 5 recommendations and request a meeting. Listen. I'm restating the motion, and if there's a second, we continue. If not, then we'll continue on.
But Fred, aren't we already in a discussion period of a previous motion?
And she can move to amend.
Fred.
A motion, wait a minute, a motion to amend is proper. It is in order. That is aligned. That is aligned. Subsidiary motion, she can make that motion. Now, do we have a second for that motion?
Second.
That was a second by Nicholas Almanor.
You don't
There's
have
a
to.
motion to amend. No, absolutely. There's a motion to amend.
Point of order. You don't have to second the motion.
A motion to amend, no, it requires a second. That requires a second.
You can't. No, that's wrong.
Point of order, Chair. I just make sure
What is your point of
people.
order?
If there's no second, then it doesn't move forward. So you don't have to second if you don't. There's no automatic second. Second means that we continue talking about it, and then we vote. So just to be clear.
What? No, but it was seconded by Nicholas Almanor. Is that correct, Mr. Almanor? Did you second the motion?
I did.
Right, he did. Yeah, Mr. Almanor did second the motion. So the motion to amend is currently on the floor. Yeah. So and just to make sure that we're clear, a motion to amend is currently on the floor. To amend it to remove the recommendations and request a meeting with the elected officials, business partners, and elected officials and business partners. So that was moved by Suki Chan, seconded by Nicholas Almanor. So that is the order, the business in front of the board now. If you vote to amend it, and you vote for it, it is changed, and that becomes the new motion. If you do not vote, if it dies, if there's not sufficient vote, it dies, and we go back to the original 5 recommendations. Are we clear?
Yes, I have a
Okay.
comment.
Now that we have that, well, hold on. We'll take you. The commentary will be on this new motion. So if you want to speak, I'll put you down. Hold on one second. So Warren, I have you. Is there anyone else who wants to speak on? Okay, Chris, I see you as well. Suki, actually, you go first as the maker of the motion. Hold on one second.
Beverly.
Sorry,
Beverly, okay.
Amazing.
Hold on one second. Amy Pinkerton, I have you in case you're interested, you want to speak on this motion. And Michael Liburd. Okay.
Well, not me, I'm sorry, my hand's not up.
Oh, okay, no problem. Thank you. Okay, so Suki, as the maker of the motion, you go first.
I'm going to let somebody else go first. I didn't mean to have my hand up.
Fair enough. Warren. Yeah, Warren?
Hold on, I asked him to unmute.
Okay. I don't know if this is correct under Robert's order. Discuss whether people who have to say about this. So for the record,
Well,
I consider any vote on this to be inappropriate. Thank you.
Warren, I didn't hear a word you just said.
Warren, yeah, you broke up that entire segment. Could you do that again?
Yeah.
Not really, no.
Okay, Warren, I'll tell you what. Work on that. We'll come back to you. Okay, we'll come back to you, Warren. Beverly. No, I'm sorry, Kristen. Beverly. Let me add you to the list. I'm sorry. Oh no, I'm sorry. Beverly was next on the list, actually. Go ahead, Beverly.
The amended motion, we've gone from a proposal that's very clear, even though I had some questions about the trash on the commercial corridor. We've gone from a proposal that's very clear with points with action items that we can act on, to a motion that whenever you guys get around to it, can you please come and speak to us? We'll be waiting around forever. I can't be okay with that. I'm sorry.
No, thank you for that. Okay. Next, Amy. I see you, Amy.
Yeah, hi. I was on the phone and I wasn't unmuted. I didn't have a mic on my computer. So two things. Christian, you do a lot of work and it's very good, and I hope you get a praise for it, because it's a very difficult position you're in. And prior to this, I wasn't able to add a comment to the letter. I'm in Yakov's camp, where I'm thinking that this topic needs discussion. And I know that the feedback in January, I saw that you had kind of a rendering of the street garbage cans, the commercial kind of bump out or something like that. If it's piloted somewhere, it would have been helpful to see a photo of where it actually is and how it works. I know that in my community where I live in CB9, it is very dirty. And I would say 90% of it is behavioral. It's not like the wind, and it's not because we don't have enough garbage cans. It's because people litter a lot. And I know that the council, or even Yvette Clark and Eugene and Matthew had funded for a while, and maybe the funds had run out, but they hired something like that DOE organization, where they had the people, the gentlemen clean the streets. Okay, I think that's something that could be funded in the interim. But right now, it doesn't seem like we're ready to vote on anything. It seems like it's ripe for discussion at the board. And I just don't feel like either the amendment or the original thing has to be voted on. It's just insane. Everybody has all these questions, and that's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Amy. Next, I see Chris.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thanks everyone for your questions and comments and concerns. We first brought this letter to the general board's attention in January. We sent the letter out in advance of the meeting, and we got a lot of feedback on it. And frankly, the letter is a lot better now because of that feedback that we got from this general board meeting in January. We consulted with stakeholders, whether they be community residents, merchants, or city agencies, and the letter is a lot better now. We've had opportunities and have discussed it at the committee level. And I would even add that since we started this discussion, there's been more community members who have joined the Environmental Protection Committee so that they can participate and add their voice to the letter and make it a more comprehensive letter. All that being said, I totally agree with what Beverly just said. The letter we've put in a lot of work into it. And if we remove the 5 recommendations up top, which are very action-oriented, tangible, and specific, if we remove those recommendations and we simply ask council members to meet us to start a conversation without specific agenda points, they will never get back to us to actually have that conversation. So it's very important, I think, that those 5 recommendations are included in the letter. We can wordsmith the recommendations a little bit. We can make sure that the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted. But those recommendations, there's a lot of thought that went into them, whether it was looking at what other cities around the world are doing, Argentina and Spain, or even just simply looking at what they're doing in Manhattan, in a 1 borough away. So there's a lot of thought that went into recommendations, and those are critical to start the conversation with council members. And Beverly said it very well. Thank you.
Okay, and so just because we don't want to go on, if there are any members who wish to speak on it, please put your hand now, and then we're going to cut off the list, and we're going to vote on the amendment.
Get back to me.
Hello?
No, I have you. We're going to come back. I just want to make sure we get the list first, because then we're going to end the conversation. Yeah, 1 second. I almost got you. Yeah. Yes. Hold on 1 second. Who is this?
This is Naomi Baptiste.
Hi, Naomi. Did you want to speak on the amendment?
Is what I'm see because I've been trying to get into the WebEx and I'm having a problem. So I called in. So the amendment is for what? I apologize. My tardiness.
No problem. So first of all, Khalid, please add Ms. Baptiste on as president. The amendment we're voting on is the recommendation that was made by the Environmental Protection Committee.
Okay.
So the motion was made to adopt the 5 recommendations. There's an amendment on the floor that we're considering to amend the letter to remove the 5 recommendations and replace with a request to meet with the elected officials and business partners. So that's the amendment we're looking at right now. Okay.
Okay, yeah, I'm ready. I guess I'm ready to vote if that's okay, because I'm trying to get into this WebEx and it's giving me a problem. So that's why I called in. So I do apologize for my tardiness for my regular my other board members, but I just wanted to make sure I know what I was voting for. So thank you.
Understood. So we're just going to take a couple more comments because I see Beverly. Did you want to speak again, or was that a hand from before?
No, that's a hand from before.
Okay. So I see. So hold on. Yes.
Fred? I wanted to say, now that's what that we was just talking about, the Doe Fund. If I caught wind of it, is that about the trash and stuff like that? If I'm correct?
Yes, that was a point one of the members made. Yes, correct.
Oh, okay. No, the only thing I want to say is that I live on the side of, I'm in Crown Heights on Troy Avenue side. There are no garbages to throw your litter in, period. Not until you get to Kingston Avenue and Eastern Parkway. So for me, I really think that elected officials should come in, because when I go to Nostrand Avenue, it's a garbage can on every corner. But on Troy Avenue, going towards Utica, there's a lot of garbage that nobody talks about in these meetings. So I would really like to have my voice heard on this side of town, because there's a lot of litter over here. And there's no garbage cans to put your litter in. But until you get to the more prominent parts next to the college, there's a whole bunch of garbages there. And I think from my side on Troy Avenue and President, there should be also more garbage cans, because nobody talks about that side. Every time we have a talk, it's about Bedford and Nostrand Avenue. But there's other avenues that have more problems than that side. So that's all I wanted to say.
Okay. No, but thank you for that commentary. Okay, so here's the thing. I'm going to take the list, and we're going to have to close on this list. So, Warren, hold on 1 second. I will get you in a moment. Mina, I do see you as well. We'll get you as well. Melissa, I see your hand up. We will get you. And then I see Michael Liburd, and I see Bishop Gonzalez Hamilton, so we'll get her as well. And then we're going to close on Bishop Gonzalez Hamilton, or Hamilton Gonzalez, I'm sorry. And okay, Yunella, you're sneaking in late, but that's it. We're going to close on Yunella Earl Perry, and those are the members we're going to recognize, and then we're going to vote. Okay, Warren, go ahead.
Hi, Fred, I think there's a problem with the Robert Rules of Order here, that we were in the middle of discussion. You had a list of people who wanted discussion, and because of the motion made, you cut it off. Now, at the executive board meeting, I did the same thing, and you said we're in the middle of this. So I think a motion was made during discussion, and I want to continue with my discussion. I think this committee has worked very hard in terms of no other members of the board being on the committee. That's their responsibility, because both you and I know they were assigned. The second thing is that this letter is important, and I certainly agree to correct anything that's inaccurate. So we need to start a discussion on each of these points. Historically, okay, the EPA committee has been non-existent. And here we have a chair as well as resident members who are very dedicated and are approaching problems that affect all of our everyday lives. And I think it's important that we take care of this. So based on your actions, I'd like to make an amendment to the letter to Suki's motion. Basically to reject her motion and to make a new motion as to accept the work of the committee as well as what's going on, and to make any corrections that are improved. I would also add that before we send the letter, we forward it to the board. Thank you.
So Warren, so what is your motion? What is your amendment to the amendment? What are you recommending?
My amendment is to send the letter with any corrections that are inaccurate.
Okay, you know, it's far simpler to just vote on this motion and we either approve it or we go back.
Well, you can do whatever you want, because I also think you're out of order at this point. That's all, and I say that with deep respect.
I'm trying to help you, sir. I'm trying to help the board. The easiest way to get to the letter is to dispose of this motion. Okay, thank you very much.
My amendment is to accept the letter and to send the letter, okay, with any inaccuracies corrected. That's all.
Am I able to second that, Mr. Chair?
You know what? I'm going to rule this out of order because this is just making it circular. Because then we're going to have a motion to amend the amendment to the amendment to the amendment. Let's get rid of this.
It's not circular.
No, it is, because then the next motion is the amendment to amend the amendment.
Right, when you give it a chance to give any other amendment to make before you determine it's circular.
It's going to get circular. So Chris, do you certainly are you going to second this amendment? Do you second? It's been moved. I'm allowing the fact that you moved it. Chris, do we have a second to that? If TV9 wants to waste time on this, we can play the game. Who's this?
No, we're not playing the game here. We have a committee that's not work.
Warren, either this lives or dies. Very simply, either this lives or dies.
I'm just saying for the record, I think it's out of order. That's all.
Okay, is it, Chris, yes.
I'm sorry, my hand.
Yeah, I'm sorry, hold on. Because we have an amendment on the floor now to revert back to the original motion. So we want to amend the amendment to revert back to the original motion. So it's been moved and seconded. Or is it seconded? Chris, are you seconding this?
In the spirit of continuing the conversation that we first initiated this evening, yes, I would like to second the amendment.
What is happening?
So can we just get an update on what all of this is meaning right now? Sorry.
Right. What this meeting is, and to be frank, we're really shooting ourselves in the foot. It is very simple. Okay, if we have this amendment to go back to the original amendment,
So let's vote.
let's vote on it. Let's vote on it.
Let's vote.
Do we move to it? Yes. So we're going to call the roll. Well, no. All those in favor of the amendment to go back, to amend the amendment to go back to the original, please say aye.
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 All those against, please say no. Any abstentions?
I'm sorry. I don't understand what's happening right
I
now.
don't understand
have
what's
my
happening
hand
right
up,
now.
So
Exactly.
Abstain.
This is, please.
Thank you.
Member Burke put an amendment on the floor to amend the amendment.
But this is out of order.
To-
I'm so sorry. Please allow me to speak. Please, I'm
I
so sorry.
agree.
You know what? And let me do this. And I agree. The motion is out of order. We need to deal with the motion currently on the floor. The subsidiary amendment. That is the ruling of the chair. So that
Okay,
motion
Fred,
is out
but
of
for the
order.
record, excuse me, Fred, for the record, you had all ayes, okay? And that should just be recorded. When you asked for a vote on the amendment, they were all ayes. So let that just be. Thank you.
I
abstained.
Oh, Lord.
You know what? We are going to go back to the original motion at this time. Duly noted. I noted the abstention. We are going to call that, okay, the amendment passed. We are going back to the original motion. So the original motion is the five recommendations for the board. We are going to go back to the original list. So on the original list, I had 3 members left to speak. I had Roan Perry, I had Burke, and I had Lubo. So are there any other comments with regards to the original document?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
can we just be clear for everyone? And maybe everyone is clear, but I just want to make sure. If I'm not mistaken, it was Miss Amy Pickerton that put out the original request for an amendment.
No, it was Suki Chung.
It was Suki Chung. And so that is what
Suki.
we were about to make, we were about to vote on,
That's what we
correct?
wasted half an hour on.
No,
So I
what
just,
happened was the member moved to amend the amendment to go back to the original one, and the board just voted yes. So we are back to the original document.
okay, we're starting from scratch.
Yes.
All right.
We are back to the original motion to adopt the 5 recommendations.
Okay, thank you so
So
much.
are there any other comments? So are there any other comments? Seeing none, we're going to call the vote.
Fred, I have my hand
Yes.
raised.
Hold on a
So,
second. Okay, well, hold on. So let's do this. If this is commentary on this motion, please lower all the hands. Dante, can you lower all the hands? Thank you. Now, if you wish to comment on the motion, please raise your hand and we will take a speaker's list and then we're going to conclude this.
Please restate the motion, Fred.
The original motion was to adopt the 5 recommendations of the Environmental Protection Committee.
Send the letter.
Right, and to send a letter. So, well, the motion was actually to adopt the 5 recommendations. The board will draft the letter based on those recommendations. Thank you. So, do we have any questions? Please raise your hand. Okay, Suki, I see you.
So in the spirit of, as Christian said, listening and accepting feedback on the letter, and as many of the board members have said that, you know, we should be offering our feedback, I would offer another amendment, which is to keep the first recommendation to install additional litter baskets in the district. As Naomi said, there are areas that don't have any litter baskets at Troy Avenue. I know Bedford also has no litter baskets right now. And Senator Meyer's office said that that can be funded by the city council. So I would move that we accept that recommendation. I would move also that we accept the recommendation for more consistent enforcement with a gradual return, you know, perhaps not an enforcement blitz, but more, you know, I would word it as more consistent enforcement of alternate side parking regulations and double parking regulations. But I would move that we table for now the recommendations regarding the commercial corridors until the committee can speak with the merchants and until, you know, frankly, we can have a fuller discussion of this, because like right now, we're asking, like, quite frankly, I can't vote for the whole thing.
Make your motion first before we discuss. Make your motion. What is your amendment? Let's get the amendment out the way first, and then if you want to discuss, we'll discuss. If it's picked up by the board. What is your amendment?
So my amendment is that we keep the recommendation number 1 for the trash cans. We keep for funding additional litter baskets. We keep the recommendation for more consistent enforcement, and we table all other recommendations at this time until the committee can discuss them further with merchants and other board members.
All right, so your motion is to keep 1, keep 2?
Keep the recommendation about enforcement, keep the recommendation about funding additional litter baskets, and table all of the other recommendations.
Right, so
what
keep
about
1, keep 2, and
Local
table
Law
the rest.
99? Suki, do you mean that as well, or just about the merchant cleaning the sidewalk?
That's I think that I think we should remove it, because if it's a law, it's up to the city to.
We'll get into the conversation. We'll get into the conversation. You made your motion. Is there a second for this motion? For this motion to amend?
Point of order. Point of order. Can you make a motion that's not factual? I mean, the chair said they spoke with merchants. I don't understand. The chair said they've already spoken with local merchants. He said that very clearly. So this motion is based on speaking with merchants? I don't understand.
Well, that'll be part of the discussion. That's discussion on the motion. That'll be discussion on the motion.
Can I ask you to be more specific? There's 5 points. I'm not certain what Suki wants to take in.
Suki's motion is to keep.
Of the 5 points, I would move that we keep the recommendation to fund additional litter basket.
Can you just use numbers, Suki, so we know exactly?
I think that's recommendation number 1.
Join the EP committee.
Okay. Order of the day, so we can get through this. Suki, what is your?
I think that's recommendation number 1.
Okay.
I'm not sure what number it is, but I would agree that there is at least some support for more consistent enforcement of existing sanitation regulations. But I would move that we table all of the other recommendations pursuant to a further discussion.
That was 1 and 2. So that was 1 and 2, and you're saying to table the rest of them. 3 was support the implementation of local law 199. 4 is pilot and on-street containerized trash pickup. And 5 is ensure enforcement of existing alternate side parking rules.
Okay,
table the-
so then number 5, I would support. Number 1, I would support. And I think that the enforcement of local law 199, that's superfluous. It's up to the city to enforce that.
Okay. Let's keep it simple for now. So keep 1. So you want to keep 1, 2, and 3 table. No, 1, 2, and 5. You want to table 2 and 3. I'm sorry, 3 and 4. Is that your motion?
Okay, tell me again, because I don't have it in front of me. Tell me again which was which.
1 was immediately provide funding and a budget for additional trash receptacles. 2 was request that DSNY fully enforce regulations. 3 is
Sorry,
enforce
you did
legal
not
space.
read the letter. Suki, you did not read the letter. You don't have it in front of you. You don't know the numbers. This is
I
ridiculous.
certainly did read the letter. Otherwise, how could I be talking
Order
about them?
today.
They
Order-
weren't
order
numbered
today.
on the
Order-
letter,
order-
Matthias.
okay, order- okay,
Matthias, they
order-
weren't
order-
numbered
order-
on the letter.
Order.
But you don't have it.
Order. Listen. Suki, do you have the
We're
motion?
going
Then
around
you-
in circles, okay? And my time
Yes,
is
we're going
valuable.
around in circles. If you have a specific motion, let's get the specific motion. If not, let's move on and vote it either
So
up or
the
down.
motion is to keep the recommendation to immediately fund additional litter baskets, keep the recommendation for more consistent enforcement of alternate side parking and sanitation regulations, and table all other recommendations.
So that's 1, 5, and you're tabling the rest. Okay, so the motion is to table 1,
It was
5.
1, 2, and 5.
That I had 1, 2, and 5, and then she said keep 1 and 5 because she said the enforcement of existing alternate side.
I'm understanding number 1, number 2, and number 5 are kept. Number 3 and number 4 are tabled.
Is that your motion?
Yes, that's
Suki?
correct. That's my intention.
1, 2, and 5, table the rest. That's the motion to amend. Do I have a second?
Second, Amy.
Discussion. Any discussion on this?
I have a hand raised, I think. I mean, I could add something. This is Amy. Again, Christian, I think your committee is doing excellent work. I just don't have any information of what the card or trash pickup is. I think it would behoove you to have a presentation in front of the board at the general meeting. Present your case, give us the facts, tell us who you spoke to, make a presentation at the general meeting. Everybody should be at the general meeting.
Okay.
And I think that's where you bring your case to the board and then we can vote on it. Having this is very good, but I think we need more information. Thank you.
All right. There is a general unreadiness. Okay, let me just interrupt for a second. There is a general unreadiness about what's going on with this letter, and we're going circular at this point. What I will entertain at this time is I think we need some time to discuss this, and you need to get whatever questions out of the way. I would recommend you send that to the chair and to the committee, or attend the committee meeting and get that figured out. But to do it here is not appropriate this time. I think it's appropriate that we have a motion to table until the next meeting.
Hi, Fred. I've had my hand
I
up.
second that emotion.
So move. So move.
Hold on. Moved by Dexter Roberts, and who's the second?
So we're gonna just like table this until it's 2030?
No, to the motion. I said entertain a motion to table to the next meeting.
Matthias, you're right. It's an obstructionist stuff going on.
Stop, y'all. Let's vote. Let's vote. May I speak, please? May I speak,
Hold on.
please?
The motion was made. Who made the motion to table?
I second the motion.
Dexter Roberts. I said Dexter Roberts. No, I didn't make the motion. I said I would entertain the motion. Dexter Roberts. Is that accurate? Did you make the motion?
Yes, I said so move.
Right.
Okay.
And I
And the
seconded.
second, and who was the second? It was Felice?
Felice Robertson seconded. Only let me know when I'm allowed to speak. Right.
Okay, it's moved and seconded. Dexter, Felice, did you guys want to say anything on this? And then Chris,
Please.
I will see you as well.
Please.
Go ahead. Yes.
Okay. Okay. I'm sorry. Should I go first, or Dex? Do you want to go? I just want to
I
say this
just
one
feel
thing.
that that we are not.
May I speak then? I only tabled it because I need us to reread what we're saying so that we can be concise in what we want. That's all.
Okay. Dexter, I'm sorry. Did you have
The
anything?
same thing that the last speaker said, Ms. Felicia said. I feel that there's too many confusion. People they doesn't clearly understand what is going on. So better to read it and then come back to vote on it.
I
Thank you,
too
Dex.
agree with that. My apologies.
Hands up.
Yes, Chris.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would like to, I appreciate that Suki mentioned that there are certain elements of the letter that right now, tonight, this evening, she feels comfortable supporting. Because I think in the midst of this conversation with our community, we've had a lot of back and forth. And ultimately, what we're trying to seek here is common ground in a way forward where we all are where we all have a mutual understanding. So first, I just want to say I appreciate Suki listening and taking on some feedback. Second thing I'd like to say is that in regards to the third and fourth bullet point, I'd like to give some context. So the third bullet point says support the implementation of local law 199 to establish commercial waste zones. This was a law that was passed 2 months before the pandemic hit, 3 months actually, December 2019. And because of the pandemic, implementation of this law has not taken shape, but it is something that is already in law. It's something that previous electeds and the previous Commissioner Garcia were very supportive of. Now, the fourth bullet point regarding piloting on-street containerized trash pickup. This is just a pilot. We're not asking to bring this to our community for the next 30 years. We're not asking to bring this immediately. We're asking to consider a trial process in which on-street containerized trash pickup would be implemented primarily in commercial corridors. We've spoken to the merchants, as one of the other board members mentioned. We've spoken to the merchants as well as other stakeholders in putting together this letter. And I just have to be frank and say that this is about the fifth or sixth version of this letter. This is the fifth or sixth version of this letter. The letter has gone multiple drafts and was discussed at the January board meeting. It was sent in advance to all the board members at the January board meeting, and it was sent in advance before this meeting. So with all due respect, I think, and I'm speaking on behalf of my committee now, I think that committee members feel like we have had robust discussions, dynamic discussions, and honestly that the letter is a lot better now than it was in the past because of the feedback we've received. But it will be very hard to come up with a perfect letter. That just simply doesn't exist. There's nothing in this world that's perfect. And we feel wholeheartedly that it is a good letter that puts us in the right direction. And the last thing I'll say is that, just speaking very candidly, the amount of work that the committee's put into it, I'm not entirely sure what the bandwidth is for the committee to continue revising this letter beyond the times that we have already revised it. So that is something that I would hope we all consider if we were to table this to another month, because I just don't know if there is bandwidth to discuss. I personally, I also may have to drop off because for my 9 to 5 job, I have a meeting with our team from 9:30 to 10:30. So if you see me dropping off, I apologize, but I have a 9 to 5 as well, and I will have to tend to that. And I very much appreciate the executive board last week who wholeheartedly endorsed the letter, and all those that were in favor of it. There were no abstentions, there were no objections. And I appreciate you, Chair, for the work that you did, and I would like us to continue this to consider this letter this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. In the interest of time, because we're going to start losing people, it doesn't make sense for us to continue a long conversation where apparently we're going to do motion upon motion upon motion, and we still have other things we need to continue. So with that being said, is there any objection to calling the question at this time in terms of are we going to table this until next month?
Yes, it's Warren. I would like to make a motion to go back to the original letter with the corrections that have been suggested. And number one, to respect the
It's out of order. It is out of order. There's a motion
Why
to
is that
table.
out of order? Just ask if there's anything you wanted to say.
No, because if the motion is to table,
I think,
Warren,
as I said before,
Warren,
I think
there is a
you've been
motion
out
to the
of
table.
order.
We either we're going to talk about it or not.
I'm talking
So that is
about
it. We decide. No. You're talking about making another
Fred,
motion.
I'm
Going back
talking
to
about
something else.
what?
You're
Fred,
talking about
I don't
changing a
get
motion to table. It is the motion to table is pretty straightforward. Either you're saying we're going to talk about it or we're not.
I know.
So you do one of two things.
Okay, Fred,
Either you
to be
table it or
precise,
we don't.
I'm against this. I'm against the motion. Okay.
Then you vote no. Then
I
Warren.
feel that.
Then the right of the members to vote
What
no.
are you
We
asking
don't
me
table.
for?
It's either to table or not. That's it. That's the only thing there.
I think you just asked for discussion.
Given that
No.
the chair of the committee is not going to be available as part of the discussion in the next 5 minutes, we'll be forced to table, because for us to discuss it any further and the chair of environmental protection not be present is unfair. I vote
No,
to
I
table.
disagree.
And
Yeah,
under
Beverly,
easy
I respect what
circumstances,
you're
I wouldn't.
saying. Beverly, I certainly respect what you're saying, but I don't understand the process here. It seems that everything that's contrary to tabling this or postponing it is being put aside. And I have to say, once again, I take exception to the interpretation of the Robert Rules of Order. So
No, won't understand what I said.
No, okay,
I said if the chair
okay.
were going to be present, I wouldn't vote the table. But the chair of the committee is not going to be present in 3 minutes.
But is that
For
correct?
us to discuss his topic without him being present isn't fair.
Point of order. I'm sorry.
What is your point of order?
To stay on until 9:45. I spoke to my teammates at my regular job. I'm sorry.
Right.
Sorry, Chair.
Yes. What is your point of order? Yes.
Just to clarify for the group, is there any way in Robert's Rules of Order to go back to the original motion and vote it up or down and then continue the conversation after that? Because we have motion, amendment after amendment after amendment. I think this is the fourth one now, maybe the fifth one. Is there a way to get back to the original, vote it up or down, and then keep it moving? Is that possible?
Well, and that's part of the point, because every time we try and get back to that, there is still unreadiness because somebody wants to amend the motion. And what I'm saying is, and that tells you something. If people keep doing this, that means people are not quite comfortable with it, and perhaps we need to reset.
No, Fred,
I
that's
think
a
we need to
biased
reset in terms of
statement.
being able to do this.
Excuse me. Fred, that's a biased statement. There are people who are very comfortable with this amendment, with the original thing.
And there are people who are not. Because obviously we've done this a couple of times.
Excuse me, Fred. Let's go back to the original motion and vote on it. Because I'm contrary to your opinion. I think there are people who are very comfortable with this original motion. And I think that people are just bringing in minutia. Okay, it's just a letter and it begins a conversation. Okay, that's my last comment. Thank you.
We currently have a motion on the table, currently have a motion before us to table or not to table. The chair has indicated he can hang on for about another 15 minutes, but even with 15 minutes more of discussion on this, there are still additional items we need to consider as a board.
Fred, what
I
about
think
my
we-
motion I just made?
Call the question.
You're dismissing that.
The motion on the table, you're asking to amend a motion to the table, and you can't do that. That's out of order.
That's
So
what
I
I'm
told
asking you to do.
No,
I'm
you-
asking to
there-
amend the original, to amend the motion to
And
go
you
back to the
cannot. There's a
original
motion on the
protocol.
table that we need to dispose of. Warren, you're not getting it. There's a motion on the table we need to dispose of.
No, Fred, I made two motions and you haven't approached it.
Because
So
you
why
can't,
is this
it's
one
out of
different?
order. I have addressed it. Warren, stop. It's
Okay,
been
I'm
addressed.
out of order.
order. We need to
Okay,
take care of
once again, I'm registering my protest on
It's
Robert's
duly
Rules of
noted,
Order.
Warren. It's duly noted.
Thank you. Okay.
Can we just vote?
Yes, we're going to call the question. All those in favor of tabling, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Are there any members?
Aye.
Thank you. Are there any members opposed to tabling? Please say no.
Aye.
Please say.
No.
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 Whoa, whoa, whoa.
No.
Whoa, we have a majority.
No.
We are going to call, we're going to call the roll. Thank you very much. Please call the roll.
So funny.
I'm glad some of us think it's funny.
No, you know what I think? I think it's
Warren, we're going to call the roll. Thank you.
Okay.
Khalid, would you please call the roll? Thank you.
Yes, I'm going by members that have acknowledged present earlier. Kyrie Elaine.
Here, present, aye.
Your vote, please.
So my vote is to table it?
Yes, it's a table. No, it's to
Yes,
continue.
yes, yes,
Yes, the tabling. Okay, thank you.
yes.
Nicholas Almanor.
No to table.
Was that a yes?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Oh, no, I said no to table.
No, okay. Oh, sorry, Stewart. Fred Baptiste.
Yes.
Yes, the table. Naomi Baptiste.
I say table.
Yes, the table. John Beckles is absent. Rabbi Yaakov Berman.
Yes, he's here.
What am I voting?
Excuse me. Are you voting
The motion
yes?
is the motion is to table consideration of the matter right now until next month.
Yaakov, your vote, please.
Moving.
I'll keep moving. Yes. Warren Burke.
No.
On the table. Okay. Excuse me. Augustine is absent. Suki Chung.
Yes.
Yes, the table. Tessa Hackett Vieira.
No.
On the table. Shlomo Zalman Het.
Abstain.
Thank you. Primo Lozano.
No to tabling.
Mina Lagute.
No to tabling.
Melanie Lewis.
No to table.
Michael LeBird. Oh. I'm sorry, was that a no? I think that was a no. Okay. Matthias,
No.
Thank you. Matthias Limberger.
No.
No.
We're talking about garbage, for Christ's sake.
Christian LeBeau.
No.
No to table. Beverly Newsom.
No.
Yaakov Pearson.
Abstain.
Real Peerbooms. No. Unella Roan Perry? Okay. Felice Robertson?
I have to abstain. I need a full understanding of what's taking place.
Understood. Dexter Roberts?
Yes.
Yes, the table. Okay.
Amy Pinkerton is on the line, would like to vote.
I'm sorry, Amy. Yes, I had you marked absent, individual. Please go ahead. Please vote.
No, yes to table or no to table, whatever it is.
I'm sorry, Amy. It's either yes or no to table.
I'd like to table it. If that's a no vote, yes. If that's a yes vote, yes. Table the motion. Table the whatever.
So you vote yes. Okay. Melissa Severe?
No.
Rashida Sadiq?
No.
Mrs. Evelyn Williams? Excuse me, Miss Evelyn Williams? Okay. Lorianne Wolseley?
Hi, I just want to make sure I understand what's going on. It's yes to table or no to vote. I'm a little confused.
That's correct.
I
A
say
yes
vote.
vote, move to table.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, was that it?
No to table. Vote tonight.
Okay.
Thank you.
Is Bishop Hamilton Gonzalez on the line? You didn't call her
Yes,
name.
I am. No one called me for my vote.
I know, girl. That's why I'm speaking up.
Okay, order the day, order the day. He's going
My
to call
apologies.
the other names afterwards. Yeah, because we didn't have you before, Bishop, so we'll get you after this.
So Bishop, please state your vote, please. Bishop Gonzalez? Yes, please.
No, my vote is
Okay,
no.
thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you, girl. Ridiculous. After all the hard work the committee did.
Okay, Chair, I just wanted to state for the record that I made a mistake. There are 43 board members. I added an extra email from Bishop Gonzalez. That's my apologies. We currently have 24 members present and 24 members have just voted. And I haven't done the numbers yet, but it seems like no's are a majority. Give me 1 second to tabulate.
That's fine.
Mr. Chair, can I just say something?
Go ahead.
Oh, God, no.
I just want to let you know, for a community member that's new to the board, this is very disheartening to hear all of this rhetoric on here. So I just want to make that duly noted and recorded and reported. It's very disheartening as a new member for this nonsense of all of this characterization that controls what happens in the community is very disheartening. So I just want to make that recorded and recorded as a new member. Thank you.
Out of order.
I gave her the floor. I did give her the floor.
Also, Ms. Williams, I recorded your no vote. And just to be clear, that's actually 25 members present now. Or that's acknowledged.
Did Yakov vote?
My apologies. Yakov did not respond with his vote.
Fred, we got a couple of hands up still.
Just try and get the vote first. Try and get the vote number.
Okay, so I have the numbers here. We have 16 no's, 6 yeses, 3 abstentions. That totals 25 votes, but not including Yakov, who is technically present but hasn't voted.
Then he counts as an abstention unless he's going to change his vote.
Okay, well then 4 abstentions, 6 yes, 16 no's.
Okay, all right. The motion to
Motion to approve the original.
No. The motion to table is still on the floor. Well, no. I'm sorry. The motion to table just failed.
The table died.
I understand. Let me finish. The motion to table died, which means we revert back to the previous motion we were just considering, which was going back here.
Send the letter.
To approve the letter.
That's it. Clean the letter
So
up.
motion was, hold on now. Actually, I thought we were on with Suki's amendment.
No.
Oh no, Fred, don't.
No, it was my last motion, which you wouldn't let me make, which is to go back
to the motion to table. Well, hold on. The last motion was Suki's amendment, at which point we moved to, there was a motion to table. We just considered the motion
which
to
I
table.
said
That's all.
wasn't proper Robert's rules of order.
The motion to table, listen, as the chair, we already did that. So now we have Suki's amendment is the last thing that was before us. That was the last thing before the table. So now Suki's amendment was moved and seconded. Is there any comment on that? Now, a motion to amend could be in order, but if you do, that's the only time we have to consider that after that, because that's a second order amendment. We don't go thirds.
So just to clarify, Suki's amendment was like leave out bullet point 2 and 4, correct? Sorry, 3 and 4. 3 and 4.
3 and 4.
Why are we leaving out anything? Send the letter.
Okay, well, that's the amendment that's before us right now. So if we accept it, that's what it is. If you don't want that, then you vote it down. It's easier, instead of trying to amend stuff, it's easier to just vote down the amendment.
Let's go then. Let's go.
So let's take a vote.
Let's do it. Let's vote it out.
It's
Let's
about to
go.
be 10 o'clock.
How about we just go for the no's? How about the yeses?
Yeah.
All those in favor of the amendment, say aye.
Hi,
Oh,
Amy. I'm voting for Suki's amendment.
Voted. Thank you. Good. That's one.
okay. Anyone else in favor of the amendment?
Vote for our own amendment.
I don't even know. Well, I'm listening right now for the ayes. So I hear one. Is anyone else in favor of the amendment? Hearing none. All those against the amendment, please say no.
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 Okay. Any abstentions?
No.
Is there abstention?
Abstention, Felice.
Please record Felice as an abstention. Are there any other abstentions? Okay. Please record that the amendment fails. So now we are back to the original motion, the 5 recommendations. Is there any other discussion on this? Or can we have the vote?
Chair, I would like to.
Please have the vote because I got to put my kids to bed. So can we please have the vote?
That's Mr. Chair.
Yes, Chris.
Chair, make a statement and let's vote.
I would like to I appreciate everyone's input and thoughts on this letter, and I want us to continue to think about ourselves as one community and how we can move the ball forward on this issue. And in the spirit of doing so, I would like to entertain, or I would like to call a motion to send the letter as is. And we can, if there are any gross inaccuracies, we can fix that, but we would send the letter as is. That's my motion.
We're voting on, Chris. That's what we're voting on right now.
Well, no. So you want, because I think the motion was, the original motion was to adopt the recommendation and then to draft the letter to send out. He's saying take the letter as is.
No, sorry.
The
sorry,
motion was voted
sorry.
down.
Sorry, Fred. What I'm trying to help us do is just vote on the letter. That's what I'm trying to do. If there was an amendment before, if there was
All the
an
amendments are
before-
gone. We're about to vote on your letter.
Okay.
Wow.
It's easier. Let's just vote on this because the recommendations are there. Anything else is just wordsmithing. So that's all that is.
Thank you.
All right. So I'm going to call the question. All those in favor? I'm sorry?
Calling the roll?
No. All
No
those in
need.
favor, please say aye.
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 Okay. Any opposed? Please say your name for the record.
Amy.
Amy Pinkerton, for the record, is a no. Anyone else in opposition?
Sorry, no to send the letter as is, or to adopt the amendments that are undiscussed.
This is to
No.
adopt the recommendations. Adopt the recommendation. That was the motion. So are you opposed or are you in favor?
Opposed, no, thank you.
Okay. Amy's recorded as a no. Any other no's?
Shlomo Hecht.
Shlomo Hecht, please record Shlomo Hecht as a no. Any others not in favor? Okay. Any abstentions? Please say your name for the record. Any abstentions? Please say your name for the record. I'm sorry?
I guess I would abstain because I still don't understand what is the fighting about. It's about garbage or
Yes.
garbage pail?
Okay.
About
Listen, police, so we're going to recognize that you have an abstention. Okay. Anybody
Yes,
who
sir.
else
I'm
who wishes to
sorry.
abstain?
I don't want any
No worries.
confusion.
Abstention
No
for
worries.
me. Kyrie Aline.
Kyrie Aline. Okay, please note Kyrie Aline is an abstention. Any other abstentions? Okay, seeing none, the motion carries. The recommendations are adopted. The district office will work with the chair and the executive committee to draft the letter to make sure it goes as appropriate to the appropriate parties. Okay, we are now going to move on in the agenda to the district manager's report. Dante, do you have a report for the board this evening?
Please unmute
Chair,
yourself.
Chair, this is
Yeah.
Mel.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, I do. Report
I'm
now
sorry,
will
before you
be.
start, Dante, was there a question? Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, go ahead, Dante. You have the floor for the chair, the district manager's report.
Okay, thank you. Okay. First, I just wanted to reiterate that the office is open. So if you know of anyone who needs services, please direct them to the board office. Preferably, if they could give a call or an email to the office to schedule an appointment. We're still in the pandemic, so we're trying to minimize exposure moving forward. Next, from the Department of Design and Construction Weekly Bulletin, there will be sewer replacement activities at the intersection of Empire Boulevard. Well, actually, that was last week, so I don't need to continue with that. Next on my report, actually tomorrow, Brooklyn Community Board 9 will be partnering with the Department of Consumer and Worker Protection to hold a free tax prep and financial counseling webinar. As I said, this will actually be tomorrow from 6 to 7. If you know of anyone who needs the information, they can reach out to the board office, or they can simply go onto our website. The information is there to attend. Next, Brooklyn Community Board 9 will also be partnering with Neighborhood Housing Services of Brooklyn to hold an eviction moratorium workshop on March 29th from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Again, if you know of anyone who would need those services, or if they even have questions, they can go into our website, into our calendar. I think we're in the process of putting that information up there, but they can definitely reach out to the board office and obtain that information, and we will continue to blast that out until we reach the day of the event. Next, Brooklyn Community Board 9 is also sponsoring a RAT Academy training in conjunction with some of the local elected officials and nonprofits. The training is free, and it is meant to be for building supers and staffs, homeowners and tenants, managing agents, and companies. So if you know of anyone who would also be interested in that, please direct them to the board office and we can provide the information for the event. Currently, well, this would have been last week, but the board in its OTPS operations budget currently has $10,019.09. That's where we stand financially for our operations budget. The board office will also, just like last summer, be participating in SYEP. To my understanding, they're trying to reach 100,000 participants. So if you are part of an organization that needs maybe summer help, and can provide summer work, please register your organization to take on some of the participants this summer. I just want to reiterate that the community board application is closed. So if there's any questions, inquiries pertaining to community board applications, please direct all of those questions to Borough Hall. And then the last thing I just wanted to briefly speak about from the district service cabinet is that, we're seeing a significant amount of illegal dumping almost every day. Going to work, I see dumping on President and Nostrand at the corner. So if there are any locations, I believe that Suki may have sent me one, but if there are any locations that you know of, please send those to the board office. I'm working with enforcement and sanitation to recognize those locations. So hopefully, we can put some enforcement in that area to prevent illegal dumping. And then the last thing I will report is that also from the district service cabinet, we finally have a representative from the Department for the Aging. So DFDA did attend, and senior centers are open. They seem to be in a more grab and go fashion in pertaining to their services that they're providing right now. They do have virtual programming, and centers are open still at 25% capacity. As you probably are aware, it's a very vulnerable population. So if anyone needs any information from the report that I provided today, please don't hesitate to reach out to the board office. And again, if you know of any illegal dumping spots throughout Community District 9, not just on the west side, all throughout our borders, please alert the board office, and I will shoot that to the Department of Sanitation Enforcement. So to see if we can, put some notice on that. So with that, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Mr. Chair, this is Naomi Baptiste. I have a question in regards to number 14.
With regards to, I'm sorry?
In regards to the enforcement, see, I'm on the phone, so I don't have a hand raised gesture. That's why I'm calling, that's what I'm saying. So I just have a question for police.
It's Dante, the district manager.
I'm sorry. I apologize, Dante. The question is that on Empire between Troy and Schenectady at PS 221 in the school, there are many complaints coming in. The dog walkers are doodling in the school park. Now, the park, I had made this mention to Mia. There's other people in the community that are complaining about the public school where there are residents taking their dogs and doodling in the school park, which is a public park to the community. People are not wanting their kids to do recess play because these dog walkers are complaining about dogs doodling in the park while kids at school are in the same park. That's a very not hygienic place. So what can we do about that for Empire between Troy and Schenectady? At PS 221, the principal is aware. I'm the PTA president there. I've made the community board office aware, but I need that enforcement because my son goes to that school and he plays in the park. And God forbid if he gets sick, it will be a problem. So I'm just making it noted that on this side of town, there are dog walkers who are not cleaning up their dog duty, and it's affecting the school, the public school that is owned by with the parks department, and the school custodians is cleaning it up. Thank you.
Okay. All right, so I see a couple of hands up. We're going to take these very quickly, very quick questions because we've got to move on, okay? I see Yunella, I see Matthias, I see Warren, I see Felice, and I see Amy, and we're going to end on Amy. Let's keep them quick, people. Yunella, go ahead.
I'm good, Fred. It was originally I wanted to speak, but I just wanted to say thank you to the committee for all the work that they've done. It was a phenomenal job, and I commend them. And you know, I'll make an effort to be at their meeting as a board member. I'll make that effort.
Me too, Uranella. Me too.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Okay, Matthias.
Yeah, I think that's right. You know, this has been an issue on the table since I think January. If board members really feel so strongly, they need to show up to these committee meetings. If you're not showing up to committee meetings, you cannot obstruct like this. I thought this was horrendous what happened tonight. Please go to these committee meetings. That's where the work is done. The work is not done during general board meetings. Get to those committee meetings if you are passionate about those issues. And I would hope that happens in the future, because this was crazy.
Yes, Matthias,
thank
I
you.
agree. I agree,
Okay,
Matthias.
if we can keep the comments to the district manager's report for now. I might actually be addressing a couple of these items when we get there. Warren.
Fred Real has had his hand up for a long time.
I'm sorry, Bill, I didn't
that was
see you
from before, I think. Thank you.
Okay. Real, I know you have your hand up. Go ahead.
So Fred, the reason I don't speak up is because I refuse to add to the chaos. This is exceptionally chaotic and dysfunctional. I know you asked people to speak about the report, but I've had my hand up physically and virtually for over half an hour, and if that is not something that can be moderated.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Real, you're going in and out. You're cutting in and out.
Okay, let me try again. Can everybody hear me now? The sound has been problematic all night, by the way. My point is this: I know you wanted to comment on the report. I've had my hand up literally, virtually, and literally for half an hour. Right? If that is not a functional system, then I'm not sure why it's in place. And I refuse just to be another person who unmutes the mic and starts talking. And this is exceptionally dysfunctional. And I just want to point out that yes, we are required to be thought partners for these kinds of issues that are brought in front of the board, but a yes vote is also a yes vote for putting confidence in committee work, for even when you may not agree 100%. And I think everybody, is called on to think a little bit hard about what your objections, what your personal objections really is, and how to weigh around against the benefit of the work that the committee has done. And if we would have done that, and if we would have listened and read the room in the beginning of the conversation, I think it would have been very clear that the vast majority of the people on the board wanted to move forward on this. And then, I say you put your personal objections aside and you put your vote in for the confidence of the committee and the respect to the committee. And that's lacking tonight. I think this is very problematic and really discouraging.
Okay. Yeah, I think your mic kept cutting out in the middle, but I think we got the gist of most of what you said, though. Thank you for that comment. Okay, so I see, but listen, we can't keep going on and on all that. I see Amy, I see Felice, and I see Dexter, and we're closing on that. Then we have to move on. And please keep your comments to the district manager's report.
Hi, it's Amy, district manager report comment. I have submitted some 311 calls and concerns about garbage to the district manager. Not having received any sort of response in return, I'm not certain what the status of those things are. I did get other communications from other groups I contacted, but I mean, it seems like it's a one-way communication. I don't know, a response is nice and a follow-up is nice. So comment there. Thank you.
Okay, we'll see Felice and then close on Dexter.
Hi, my comment is on Dante. and also the mother that was complaining about the dog poop. So my office of Administrative Trials and Hearings, you can call there and or 311. But my office specifically deals with stuff like that, and they look around and wait and see who's doing that, and they fine them a lot of money. Okay, just giving you a heads up. It's called OATH, Office of Administrative Trials and Hearings. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. Dexter.
Hi, good night to all and to the chair. Mr. Chair, I'm about to catch a flight, so I just wanted to make a comment before I actually exit here. I realized in this meeting tonight that you had several chairs apart from yourself. I think that we are all big people and not children. I think we should have respect. That's the first thing. Charity begins at homes and ends abroad. I doubt in your house someone will be speaking and allow the children to answer back and forth, right? So I feel very ashamed tonight to have these big old women and men, and I don't mean to be obstinate, but the chair didn't have a chance to speak. You are putting things in order, and you have people just going back and forth. If you want to chair the meeting, then run for the chair, but you have to have respect for the chair. And I'm very annoyed about it. Have respect for the chair. If you set this bad example, when you have a new member come in and said, I'm here for the first time and I'm feeling this way, I feeling annoyed because a new member is feeling the same way. We have to have some respect. If you can't respect the board, you can't respect the chair, then I can imagine what chaos goes on in your house. I can imagine your lifestyle. It tells that you are bacchanalist and all you're here for is to oppose and to oppose. If you have nothing constructive to say, shut your mouth and wait until something comes up. I stay quiet all the time until I feel there is something important for me to say. I think that some of us like to hear ourselves, then get a recorder and record yourself, and you can hear yourself all day and all night. But have respect. Good night, Mr. Chair. I'm on a flight and I'm back. If I log out before, know that I didn't mean to log out, but I am going to Port of Spain. I have a debt, and this is it. I'm really annoyed. Dante did a good job.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Okay.
Mr. Chair, can I just tell the person from Office of Administrative Trials and Hearing, I will make sure that I really get in touch with you. Can you just tell me your name so when I ask, I can know who to talk to? My name is Naomi.
Naomi, you can call me. My name is Felice Robertson. I would have to give you my cell so that I can switch you over and get you to the right channels, okay?
Well, what I'll do is I'll leave my my phone number with Dante, and then you can call him with my phone number. So I thank you so much because there's a lot going on this side of town that nobody's really talking about, and every time I try to say something, it's always a disgruntled thing, and I don't do disgruntled because that I didn't join the community board for disgrunt and comments. I joined the community board to change my community. So if this is what it is, then I can't be a part of it because my name is very important. So I thank you for your respect on what I was saying, and I thank to whoever I spoke to in previous times on what you did. Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I thank you for everybody who is positive on this call. So thank you so much.
May I respond? Dante is very vital, and his community board is very vital. And that gentleman that spoke about being a chair is very hard. I'm here to tell you that it is. I chair 2 agencies. It's not easy. So give us respect. It's very important, and allow us to conduct our meetings. It's very important, and we can get this whole thing through the right way. Okay? So Dante is going to be very important, and I'm going to give him the information because we have to channel ourselves to him. Okay, but I'll give it to you nevertheless. Thank you.
And as I said, thank you. But guess what? You know what the sad thing is? This is the committee that chooses what happens in the. This is the committee that chooses what happens in the community. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, and I apologize, but we have to cut this off. We actually have to go on. Okay, so that concludes the district manager's report. I have a very, very brief chairman's report. Yeah, very brief chairman's report. So 3 items that were on the agenda, that on my agenda. One, I think we needed to, was actually attendance and expectations, which is funny how this played into this, because this is an issue, obviously, and this is something we repeat in terms of we understand this is a sacrifice that people are making in terms of coming. Everyone is busy. Everyone is on the board because you're involved in the community and you have a number of other things that you're doing as well, which means that we need to respect the time. We need to respect the board. All we ask for you to do is make sure that you diligently attend the general board meetings. Those meetings are given in advance, and as well that you have to participate on your assigned committees. I think it's been said several times that one of the challenges we have is that people are not showing up for those committee meetings. We're complaining about, okay, well, listen, there's only one person on the committee, but, when we design these committees, there's never that just one person. So it really speaks to the fact that we need for all board members to recommit at this time for the last few months of the year to make sure you show up and be where you're supposed to be. Obviously, we understand that life, people have lives, things happen, and things come up. But all we ask for is that communication and making sure that you're communicating with your chairs, with the district office, and you work out through most things. But at some point, we have to do what we have to do, and you have to honor your commitment to this board. And if you can't, we understand that. No one holds it against you. But every time you do that, you hold the board back. You hold these committees back. Secondly, I just wanted to discuss the letter of comment. So we had to postpone the hearing for the budget process. So that was had just immediately prior to our this board meeting. But I want to say thank you to all those who attended. I think there was some very good commentary. And I think part of the commentary is that we do need to have a good look at this entire process, the way it's structured. One of the things that was duly noted was that, yes, so a lot of these things keep coming back and we keep getting the same answers from different city agencies. So that is something that is dialogue that is going to happen on a number of levels. The district manager has already talked about he's going to have a conversation with his colleagues. It's something that we're already talking about at the borough board. The borough president is aware of it as well. So this is something we definitely want to address going forward, where it's not just an exercise in every year we're going to beg for money that we don't get, or we're going to ask for money and it's going to keep getting kicked down the road. So we're looking for, towards making partnerships with our elected officials to try and make sure that when we ask for money, it's very clear that these are the needs of the district and those needs need to be addressed. Third, I also wanted to address the district event that we're looking at. We have a tentative date of May 22nd. So on May 22nd, we are looking to have that. So we are currently meeting with the chairs. The conversations have been having in the committees, and we are putting the event together. So we're asking everybody to save that date, and we look for it to be a fantastic event, building on all the hard work that we've done here in this district. Lastly, I am going to, the last piece I had was actually the text of a resolution we had wanted to propose for this evening. The text that I would want to propose would be with regards to Women's History Month. Whereas women of every race, class, and ethnic background have made historic contributions to the great growth and strength of our nation in countless recorded and unrecorded ways. Whereas women have played and continue to play a critical economic, cultural, and social role in every sphere of life in the nation. Whereas women of every race, class, and ethnic background served as early leaders in the forefront of every major progressive social change movement. Whereas women have served and continue to serve our country and if we can please mute all our mics, please, if you're not speaking. Whereas women have served and continue to serve our country and Brooklyn Community District 9 with distinction, it is therefore resolved that Brooklyn Community Board 9 recognizes and celebrates Women's History Month and the contributions of women everywhere and in our district. It is further resolved that Brooklyn Community Board 9 recognizes the following women for their meritorious service and commitment to the board and to the district. Francisca Leopold, Second Vice Chair, Health and Social Services Committee Chair. Evelyn Williams, Member at Large. Linda Watson-Lord, Executive Secretary, Acting. Melanie Lewis, Education and Library Committee Chair. Carmen Martinez, Transportation Committee Chair. Patricia Moses, ULIP Land Use Committee Chair. Beverly Newsom, Housing Committee Chair. Naomi Baptiste, Augustine Blackwell. Suki Chang, Verlene Dozier, Rosemary Evering, Tessa Hackett Vieira, Bishop Sylvita Hamilton Gonzalez, Minor Lagut, Vivian Morgan, Amy Pinkerton, Unella Rowan Perry, Felice Robertson, Mary Rollison Blackett, Melissa Severe, Rashida Sadiq, Rashida Sykes, Debbie Timothy, Lori Ann Wolfley, Cheryl Wright, and Mia Hilton, Assistant District Manager of Brooklyn Community Board 9. So I just want to say that this is a resolution that, unfortunately, I do not think we'll be able to pass this evening because I think we do not have quorum, which again goes to our point about attendance and the expectations. We need to make sure that we are committed to these meetings. We need to make sure that we are working hard. We need to make sure that we're focused. So I put that forward in terms of I wanted all of our members and I want our district to know that you, the women of our district, were thought of and how high a regard you are held. And this motion will be passed. I will be putting this resolution forward at the next community board meeting. And it should be passed, and we should be recognizing our heroes and sheroes, I should say, in the district. At this time, I see that we do not have, well, I will entertain a few questions with regard to the report.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Yes, this is Naomi Baptiste. I wanna thank you for recognizing me as one of the women, and I thank you because that means a lot to me. And I also wanted to ask, with that resolution, if there was someone that I felt that needed some recognition, would I be able to do that through the community board? That's a question for me. That's somebody that's in the community. If I wanted to recognize them, would we be able to do something like that for someone in the community who's not on the community board? That's my question.
If you have a recommendation of something like that, let's talk offline, because that's something, honestly, we as a board, we haven't done too much in terms of proclamations and citations, but perhaps it's something we should start investigating. But rather than promise you that we can do that, let's have that conversation and let's see if we can build a process around that where we can honor our local residents. So we can look at that.
Thank you so much, because I have one person in mind. She was my third grade teacher, and she's still teaching at my son's school as my son's third grade teacher. So she's been teaching at one school for 37 years, and she was the first Black teacher at my public school in the 80s. So I just wanted to know. So we'll talk offline. So thank you for that recognition. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, phenomenal and well deserved. Amy, you have a question?
Yeah, well, two comments, one for Fred and one for Naomi. Fred, your comment is, and I know it's been a theme throughout your tenure this year, is you were going to visit the people who do not show up for the meetings. I feel like maybe 50 board members are not what we are. Maybe we're a 30-member board, and it should have been it should have been cut a while ago, and that's why we don't have quorum. There's many people that are not here tonight that have not shown up for 50% of the meetings this year. Just an observation. And Naomi, I hope you're still listening. I so much appreciate all of your input for every meeting. You are a dedicated and very passionate community member, and I hope you consider running for the position. If your bandwidth is there, I know you have small children, but if you have the time, I would just recommend that you run for a position on the board, because I feel like the board needs more people like you. And have a good night.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you.
I saw your hand up. Do you have a question or comment, or?
Yes, yes, Mr. Chair. I was just wondering, because I know that we still have to vote on the licensing renewal, and we've had Mr. Gomez sitting through some of our dysfunction and our very lengthy commentary and the work we're trying to get done tonight. So I was wondering if I wanted to remind you that that's still some unfinished business.
Absolutely. And unfortunately, because we are under quorum, definitely under quorum, that's not an option. We're not going to be able to take that business on this evening. My apologies to Mr. Gomez and to to any other people who have business before the board this evening. But guess what? These are the consequences of when we don't handle our business and when we're not serious. So that's my comment to the board. Mr. Gomez, we are definitely going to make sure we take this up. If there's any questions, please make sure you contact Dante, and the district office will do everything we can in our power in terms of helping to expedite if there's any documentation we need to provide for you. Okay, but absolutely, definitely by next month, we'll make sure we take it up for you. Okay, and as I say that, I definitely, well, just to end a little bit on a high note as well. Yes, so to end a little bit on a high note, I did want to note that our district manager, of all days, today is his 1-year anniversary being here with us at CB9, and I wanted to take the time to acknowledge him as well and the hard work that he does. It was a long process getting him here, and he has truly been working hard. He's been making a lot of development. He's done a lot of fantastic work. He's taken leadership roles in this borough. So I just wanted to acknowledge that and say thank you very much for your continued excellent service, Dante. And all the best and even more success as you continue. All right. Okay. So with that, we are going to conclude the meeting. The time is now 10:14 p.m. I want to thank everyone. Everyone, take care, stay safe, and please keep in mind that when we don't do what we need to do, our district suffers. So make sure you're attending your meetings, make sure we're coming with clear minds, make sure we're ready to do the work of this district. Everyone take care. God bless.
Good night. Take care.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night, everyone.